You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
The Wasteland is the post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waves. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waves.
Hello and welcome to the 491st edition of the Fallout Feed. I'm Andrew, joined by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks. Tonight I've got Ray. What's up, Ray?
Hello, hello.
And also Jess. What's going on, Jess?
Kapow. Greets, everybody.
Kapow. Hope everyone had a very safe and festive holiday season. This is our first show back post-Christmas, pre-New Year, and we will reflect a few of those common, New Year's themes, like maybe some video game resolutions, and sort of like end-of-the-year type stuff on our list and stuff. But we'll start the show off, as per usual, with our normal gameplay, and then this week is a feedback episode from the two quests we got involved with last week. I forget, let's see, it was supplying demand, and what was the other one? I forget off the top of my head. But we will hear some feedback from about those two quests. We're going through the
I think it was property rights. Was the other one?
Property rights. Yeah.
Property rights. Okay. And that's some Brotherhood of Steel stuff we're getting into in Fallout 76 for this season of the Roundtable. We've got a Fallout Terminal Velocity also tonight from Will. Oh, our feedback guys tonight is from Eric, Vanessa, Will, Pip-Boy Steve, and Lee. And then, like I mentioned, we got a Fallout Terminal Velocity from Will. We're going to bounce back to Fort Strong, looking at the Bravo Team terminal there. Will originally thought that there was some sort of lore-breaking entry there that he made a comment on, but then he discovered that it is not actually lore-breaking, so I think he had to re-record it and send another file or something. So Will is going to teach us some important stuff there about Fort Strong. Looking forward to that. Iguana Bits also on the way. And like I mentioned, we got some video game resolutions maybe, and some shouts on our way out the door. So let's go ahead and roll right into it. See what everybody's been getting into. Hey, Jess, did you have a good holiday?
I had a pretty great holiday, actually, yeah.
I think I
Wonderful
heard some
Christmas, good times, few prezzies, some delicious Christmas nachos, which, that's burritos
yes.
for Thanksgiving, nachos for Christmas. It's the rule.
What's the nachos consist of? How are they Christmasified?
So, they weren't really. They were just delicious nachos. What I actually did was, get a lot of stuff to make nachos on the 24th, Christmas Eve, and did a lot of nachos. So I had nachos on Christmas Eve some, and then I had the rest on Christmas.
Yeah,
but
no such thing as too much nachos.
Here's the special celebration for Christmas. I did buffalo chicken nachos, which,
Yeah.
when you're in Buffalo, everything buffalo chicken. It's a different kind of spice. You get it all tossed, a little crispy. It was delicious. And then, with the usual fixins, some salsas, lettuce, tomato, cilantro, which I know everybody loves cilantro. Yeah. I didn't when I was younger. I had this thing where I didn't have the soap gene, I don't think, but I had the cilantro taste gross gene. And as I got older, I'm like, sometime in my 30s, I'm like, this is actually pretty good. I had it with sushi and a couple other things too. I don't know. Taste buds change.
Yeah. Well, and it definitely tastes very green.
Yeah, it does taste very green. Yeah.
Oh.
Solior asks in chat, soap gene. So some people, cilantro is one of those things that genetically some people taste it and it tastes kind of like soap to them. Like licking a big old bar of ivory.
My wife and mother-in-law both have that gene. They despise cilantro.
Yeah, my wife's the same way.
Just one of those things, and I used to despise it. And at some point it started tasting good. Like I said, sushi had that too. Brussels sprouts, Still gross. So,
Oh, what?
Sorry, Ray.
I love good.
I know you
roasted
do.
Brussels
I
sprouts.
love Brussels sprouts. Cabbage is like one of my favorite foods, and Brussels sprouts are just like little tiny power cabbages. They're awesome.
They are packed with dirt flavored cabbages.
They are.
No,
They are super, super strong flavor cabbages.
I would like Ray's. I've told Ray this before. I would like Ray's. I probably like a lot of people's, but the way I grew up eating them, they was kind of like boiled.
Oh yeah,
With a little bit of
gross.
butter, and it's just not good. You know what I
No.
mean? Somewhere's between mushy and not the best.
No, got to roast them with some sea salt. Get the olive oil, little garlic aioli to dip in. It's so good.
But seeing as we're talking holidays, and mine was sweet. I got a lot of gaming, and of course, which we'll talk about the gaming. But how about you guys? Ray, your holiday Christmas itself, did you do anything? Or were you already on the road at that point?
No, I was at my dad's, so we just had a very chill Christmas, and no, nothing crazy.
Almost forgot what day Christmas was. Was that over a week ago? No,
No,
that
it
was
was
just
just Wednesday.
2 days ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, not so long.
It's been a
So
long
when
one.
you-
All this time off is good for you, but also you lose track of time, which is nice, actually.
yeah. Well, that's
a good
just
thing.
the story of my life at this point. Always wondering what day it is.
Because
So
then you realize,
what the other,
it doesn't matter what day it is.
Yeah. The other food gene, besides the cilantro and soap,
Mm-hmm.
the other one is if you eat asparagus, your
You go
urine
pee.
smells like
Yeah.
asparagus.
Does it not for some people?
Some people
Yeah.
that doesn't happen to.
It doesn't funkify? Oh my gosh, asparagus is super funky. It's like the Nuka-Cola Quantum of the vegetable world. It's not blue and glowy, but it sure smells funky.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then the nachos that I love are my chilaquiles.
Oh,
Those are
chilaquiles.
my breakfast nachos.
Yeah, when my friend Shreds came up, and that was last week, right? Was that on Friday that I got the visit from friends? It was, right?
I don't know. I don't remember you talking about it.
Wow. Okay. Well, a couple of my great friends, my streaming buds, Shreds and Jorge, we got together. And no, that was Monday. So I told you I complete this week is a jumble. So I actually met in person after 5 years of being friends and streaming together and doing tons of stuff together online. My girl Shreds and she and El Jorge, who also streams with us on the Gato, they kind of met and my house is in the middle. So we got together for a little bit. We chatted.
Oh,
it was
that's
great,
awesome.
but Shreds is a huge fan of chilaquiles for breakfast or, lunch. Anytime really, but for
Okay,
actually breakfast.
I've
anytime.
never had these. I've never had these. So anyone who's unfamiliar, chilaquiles are basically corn tortilla pieces that are fried, cooked in salsa, and then sprinkled with cheese and are often served for breakfast with eggs and a side of beans or napalitos. And I also do not know what napalitos are. What are napalitos?
That's pickled cabbage. Or
Oh,
not pickled cabbage,
fuck. I would
pickled
love
no.
that.
Sorry. Pickled
cactus.
I'd still probably dig that. I don't know. Is it,
Oh, yeah.
is it
It's
gross?
super good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
like
are
that.
wicked tasty.
Napalitos. I'll have to seek
And
that out.
I put on, the pickled jalapenos and pickled red onions.
Yeah. I love all that stuff.
But it does feel like we've packed in like 3 weekends. That's really what it was. Because, it was Monday we got together and then we had 2 days off, which I'm like, okay, it feels like Saturday, Sunday. And then boom, 2 days of work. And now Saturday, Sunday again coming up. It's
Yeah.
pretty great. I love this time of year. Let's do it more often.
Welcome to almost retirement.
Oh,
Can't
I wish.
wait.
I
Yeah.
wish.
I'm
You
ready.
know, I'm not going to say I'm not checking the account occasionally, Ray, and being like, how can we shave a year or two off this?
Let's look at these investments, shall we?
Yeah.
How about you, Andrew? How about your holiday? I know Christmas, of course, best day of the year, followed by sometimes the worst day, but how was the best day and the lead up to it?
Oh, it was just dandy this year. Everything went swimmingly with a 10-year-old in the house. I keep thinking that the end of an era is coming soon, but he's still totally into the whole thing. So I was very happy about that. We, did the classic Christmas Eve at home with the family matching PJs, watching a Christmas movie, that sort of stuff. Christmas morning at home, and then off to my mom's house in the afternoon. She lives about an hour and a half away. We stayed 2 nights there, and we just bounced back home today. So we've been, just driving around a little bit, seeing family. My mom is getting a new dog. She went actually and picked it up today, but we had to leave right before she brought it home. So I'm gonna go back and play with a new puppy dog here in a couple weeks, and so that's big exciting news in our family.
Are they a pup or adopted?
It was, I think, probably around a year old. Still a lot of puppy left in it, but sort of getting up to its probable size. You know what I mean?
Do you know what kind of dog it was?
Let's see. It was a mutt of a few kinds, of course, but
Perfect.
it's got a messy face with some wiry fuzzy hair, and I was like, oh, it looks like Rags from Annie or something like that.
I'm apparently deep into my pet. Well, I mean, I love dogs all the time anyway, but I'm apparently deep into my pet lady phase. Playing cat games, asking about dogs, 20 questions.
Oh yeah, well they're way more interesting than other people's kids. You'd always rather talk about their pets. You know what I mean?
Any good presents, either of you? Any presents at all?
I always get like this pair of LL Bean slippers that I look forward to every year. You know what I mean? That's like a tradition that my mom gets me every year, is this LL Bean pair of slippers. Same thing every year. I don't want anything else. She knows that. It's just so I look forward to this new pair of slippers every year. Very fun.
Yeah.
How about you, Ray?
Because I left so abruptly, all my presents are back in Georgia.
wrapped and waiting.
So I haven't the slightest idea what I got for Christmas.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I actually have LL Bean shoes. I mean, obviously Mainer, but I have LL Bean shoes that are my favorite, that every 2 to 3 years I got a new pair,
Yeah.
I rotate them out. But they're my main things, because I used to live in Chuck's, but...
I'm surprised if they're LL Bean. I'm surprised someone doesn't like show up in an LL Bean truck and like retread them for you and like polish the leather and shit.
LL Bean's not quite as wild about that as they used to be,
Oh, man,
people taking advantage of that policy. But
Yeah.
I've told you all before, the late nights, especially around the holidays, you go there late night and there's still people shopping, and sometimes you do see people bringing stuff back that you're like, that is a good 15 years old. Darling, if you don't think you got your use out of that, you have no idea. They're like, well, I bought it here. It's got the lifetime guarantee.
Lifetime guarantee. Come on.
Yeah, so they've slowed down on that a bit, because people, especially as they extended it, nationally and beyond, people were taking advantage of it a little bit more.
Yeah, but
But
was always
games.
awesome. Yeah.
Do we want to talk games?
Let's talk games. What you been into?
So, well, kind of the same as before. I figure I'll start off with a quick apology. Guys, I want to apologize to everyone for my cat lady BS last week. Okay, I talked, like 3 minutes about a cat game that none of you are going to play. But I did finish it. 100% of the cat game. I found all the cats.
Dude.
The city is saved. There are no more cats hiding in any of these apartment buildings.
Nice.
You can feel free to talk about cat games all day. You do not have to cut off cat games and call them silly. I'm very intrigued by cat games.
I love some of them. Little Kitty Big City, pretty great. Stray, some others. I got this game. I probably have like 4 cat games installed on my Xbox right now. There's one called A Little to the Left that is about a cat like smashing stuff. Looks really good. That looks like a lot of fun. But I haven't played that yet. So no, I mean, I have a few more. Don't worry, the cat games are not ending. But I'm like, really? I was thinking about it after. I'm like, did I really, instead of talking about playing Fallout, talk about cat game? I'm doing it again, by the way. But anyway, it was fun. All the cats were found.
Ray, were you going to say something about her cat game?
No, everybody loves good cat games.
Yeah. And I was thinking, are there dog games? Because there are. You mentioned Stray and Little Kitty Big City and the one you're playing now. What is the one you're playing now called again?
Oh, Little to the Left
Little
is
to
a
the
new
Left?
one coming up. Yeah, I was playing Building Full of Cats. That's what I just
Building
finished.
Full of Cats. There was another. was another one about this blind person following a cat and had this really cool art that I played last year. It's like, are there as many like dog games as there are cat games? And if what makes it a cat so game worthy, versus a dog?
Well, first of all, I think in a video game, the only time you can actually maybe control a cat, so people probably like that. Dogs, they obey more, but cats, they can be a little tough, so it's fun to control a cat. But no,
I see.
I think there are some dog games. There's this one called Fallout 4 that's pretty popular.
But you can't be the dog. Like in all these cat games, you are the cat running around knocking shit off.
He's pretty present.
With the, yeah.
Off the top of my head, let's see, there's Paparazzi, I've talked about on Dames. That's one where it's a dog game where you go around and you're photographing dogs. It's fantastic. Vossel Sauce's fam got into it for a bit and stuff.
That sounds pretty great.
But I can't think of too many off the top of my head.
Yeah, I bet you it has all to do with being able to control it because you can't teach a cat tricks and stuff,
Okami is so it's a wolf. There are more wolf games, I would say. There are a lot of games that involve wolves. And so sometimes dogs like that, but
there was a
Okami
Zelda
2 was
wolf
just
game.
revealed as coming back, and that's a classic wolf game.
There was I think it was called Twilight Princess. There was a Zelda wolf game. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So I played some Fallout 76. That's, of course, the bulk of my play. Well, the longest amount was Dragon Age, but for the show, Fallout 76, I did finish the quest from last week that I also felt bad about not finishing. That was, I'm like, really, people sending in feedback, and only Ray made it to the end. Oh, robot Ray.
We tried.
So, we tried. But I had some thoughts because the end of this quest is kind of interesting, So when I went back in on my character, Hard Knock Holmes, and I was there, I was building and doing some other stuff, but I went and I started back from the site because I wanted to get there officially. So I examined the area, I looted the bodies again. Great, some more stim packs, I needed those. And I noticed that the Brotherhood of Steel crates, they're not just there. They actually, while they are around the site where the explosion happened, they wind down the trail. So if you're going to get to Kerwood Mine and you don't know where it is, so you can't fast travel, and you don't want to just jump off a cliff in the direction of the quest marker, like a lot of people do, they just rappel down the mountain as best they can, skyrimming in reverse. But I followed the actual trail, and it's a really kind of cool hiking trail. It winds back and forth, and every loop or two, there's actually a Brotherhood of Steel crate there. So there's a little bit of that whole developer guidance where it can actually lead you. If you want to play it without following quest markers, you kind of can. Like, it's actually logical. There are several on the way. There's probably like 7 back and forth loops before you get down to Kerwood Mine. It's a fun little travel. And when we got to the end is actually when Hard Knock discovered the Cranberry Bog for the first time. So it was my first time being there. Discovered Cranberry Bog, that popped up. And when you get there, outside Kerwood Mine, there's a bunch of these little outbuildings. Searched them. There's some good loot there and all that. And it's neat because it's a place you can actually build a camp pretty close to it. You can't. I tried putting down my survival tent or camp right near it. You can't. You have to get a little bit further away. But you can build it close enough that it's kind of in your backyard. So I think that would be a fun place to actually build like a mine camp. And it would be just down the road from the mine. Like, it would be pretty much right there. Could be a fun build. So got into the main building, and Silliard had popped on. He was actually with me for some of that. So went in, and I entered as team leader. He was able to follow. So kind of came through. We weren't sure if that was going to work, but it did. And I went in, and of course you go in and you see Mike and all that, and he's freaking out. We're going to hear a lot about this. I won't describe in detail, but things I thought were interesting is you have to kind of, make your way to him. And he says, I'm not coming out. Tell them I'm dead. And you have to, the way you go through on the down the elevator shaft and stuff, I just thought it was really cool. You can try balancing on those boards, but if you stay on them for long, they'll break. So I don't know if people just jump down or if they tried to balance to get the power fist there, but it was kind of fun to see them break. And going through, when you get to the end, I'm not sure if this happened to you, Ray, or you, Andrew, when you went back and did it, but did you not grab the key on the way? Because I got there, I tried to get in, I had to go all the way back to find the key.
To get the key. No, I think I had it with me. I believe I did.
That was smart. I did not. I didn't have Aqua Boy or anything, so I was too worried that Hard Knock was going to die in the tunnels. So I'm just swimming frantically,
Yeah.
But we made it. We fought our way through. It is, fighting is still tougher. I made it to level 28 at this point. I think I was 26 last week, so I've got a few levels. Got a little bit further on the scoreboard.
What was the concern with the dying in the water? Was it quick radiation or like AP drowning air? Okay.
Yeah, being underwater.
AP drowning air, yeah, because the rads were coming in, but they're not that fast at all. His rads weren't bad. The breathing, the being underwater breathing was the scary part. That and, okay, you mentioned AP.
I was going to ask, does AP make you breathe longer? Is that how that works?
But you can't sprint swim. You're not going to swim as fast, so, and you burn AP trying to sprint swim, swim quickly. And I got over cucumbered by about halfway through this area. So when I went back from the key, I was cucumbered. I kept running out of AP, and I'm like, oh, quick, get to the ceiling. Can I breathe here? Hopefully. But I made it through. But it is funny, at lower levels, these are things you have to think about that you don't when you're higher level.
Yeah, you just burn through
but I got
and don't care.
back and did it. I can also report that as far as I can tell, there are no crafting benches to scrap your stuff in Kerwood Mine. Now, I could be wrong, but I looked for a few.
Isn't the item in the chest a diving suit that you can put on to breathe?
There might be a diving suit in there that I didn't get, but I got some hazmat suits in there. I got a broken hazmat suit and a regular hazmat suit. I didn't get a diving suit.
Oh, do hazmat suits, are they watertight? I assume they are.
No.
No, they're not? Oh, okay.
They help with rads,
but
right?
Not air.
Resistant.
You can't use them as a diving suit.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a rebreather or anything on it.
No.
That would be nifty. But so we get back, you get in through, you get through the door, you handle the mole miners, you tell them what's up, and then you run into Mike like we did. Now, there's some conversation options there. We're probably going to hear a few in feedback. So again, I don't need to get into them all. But I have heard from one or two people. We're going to hear about some bugs in the quest coming up that people had. I've also heard from one, Stratoblaster didn't send in feedback this week, but he messaged me because he has a bug that we can talk through in a little bit. But you can, when you're talking to Mike and you talk him down and convince him to go back to Foundation, you can either let him go to Foundation and bring back the weapons cache, which he initially insists on, or you can persuade him using perception, and I believe strength or charisma are the other options, or maybe it's intelligence and charisma. But I did the perception, of course, on that, because that's the only one I got. That was good enough. And so I did that, and then after you send him back, he'll say, okay, I'll meet you there. You convince him to. You go. You have to go to the chest, and you pick up the Brotherhood's weapon supply cache along with other stuff. And I'm wondering if people having bugs with this maybe did not pick that up at the time. It might be based on either the selection they chose, sending him back on his own, or using one of the three options. I used perception and it worked. It could be grabbing the weapons out of the weapons cache. Or it could simply be you have to reload, because Stratoblaster got back to Foundation, went into the area where Gloria Chance and her husband, and then Mike shows up to, say, I'm so sorry, this is what happened. And then you can talk to them and turn in the quest. And yeah, it worked fine for me. Also, like, what a horrible thing. You know what I mean? We didn't really dwell on the horror last week, but this kid, he's like an older teenager. And he was out there with the boys, you got to assume mostly like, a couple other teens or 20-somethings. And like, what? 3 or 4 people died. That's just, it's horrific. Like, it's just part of a quest. And he's just like, I'm so sorry. But then, you talk to him after. He's like, I don't know how I'll ever make up amends for what I did. And, this is a serious big deal. And the game kind of glosses past it a little more than you'd expect. But that's a 76 quest for you.
Still, at the same time, I bet you a 17-year-old raider kid in the wasteland would probably have already seen a good dead 17 people or something by then. I bet you get used to that sort of thing in that environment, right?
It's true. Yeah, no, there are a whole lot more dead bodies in Fallout every day. Yeah. Heck, you go to a diner and it's packed with skeletons,
exactly. You're like, oh, nice scene.
You're like, table for 2, only one of us alive. Yeah, all the time. So that definitely reduces. You do get used to the haunting specter of death. That's part of the whole Wasteland experience, right?
Yeah, they are not shocked by the chaos. The game player is, they're used to this shit.
Mm-hmm. But still pretty awful when you think about it. So But I made it through, all cucumbered, couldn't scrap anything, so I had to put down my tent, which is when I tested the edges of where I could build. I found a spot for my tent, plopped it down right on the edge of stone. Welcome to the Cranberry Bog. I'm in there scrapping, and sonic blasts, big waves,
Oh no!
scorch beast attack.
Fucking scorch
Just a little
beast.
kid. And like I said, Solera was there for this because he was just kind of following along. And his character's like 60s, but big old scorch beast was a little too much for us at the time. We were not expecting it. So yeah, we died. However, since I had just scrapped my stuff in the tent, it was fine. I'm like, okay, cool. Fast travel to Foundation, respawn.
Yeah, thank God you got that tent plopped down. You know.
Yeah, I may not be fast traveling much, but that was a perfect opportunity to do that. And I was glad because I had so much good loot. I mean, that's why I was cucumbered, right?
Exactly.
So that was the fun and exciting part of that adventure. Besides that, for homes, so my camp is coming along, my general store camp. I talked about starting it last week. I put a lot more work into it over last weekend and then again this week, getting it decorated. It's still only like halfway there, but it's got a built-in garage now. I've got this cool rundown garage. I really had a lot of fun putting that together. There's so many car options if you want to build a garage now. Like you've got the weapons workbench that you can get the jacked up car there where you start to use the weapons workbench and the car goes up on the lift. Oh,
that's cool.
That one's really cool. There's a regular car on cinder blocks. There's like 2 different fusion fleas on cinder blocks. There are the couple of little rocket looking things.
Yep.
A bunch of stuff. So, I got a pretty cool garage going on. I've got a whole vibe. I just overall coming together. Made a sign. What did I want to mention about it? I don't know. It just looks good.
No, in Fallout 4 we had the like city buses that could be used as walls and stuff. Like can you do that in 76? We don't have anything like that, do we?
We've got a couple trailer prefabs. That you can kind of do that with. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, totally works. Okay, but I remember what I was going to say. So it's supposed to be a general store, but I've decided to make it more so it's like souvenirs and tchotchkes and, camp furnishings.
Nice.
So my character Hard Knock Holmes, we're naming it Holmes Goods.
Gift shop. Holmes Goods.
I'm so proud of that.
Great. That is very good.
Dumb.
That is very goods.
That is very goods indeed. Yeah, so it's coming along. That's a bit of my project. Hard Knock also, he's unlocked 3 of the Christmas plans, so I've claimed wrapping paper on him twice.
Nice.
I've claimed wrapping paper on Jess like 3 or 4 times. Jess has all the plans now, I think. I have all the plans of my main character. But Hard Knock's got a couple. I've only given him the low quality gift wrap though. It's all part of his character. Now that I have them all, he can get the higher quality. But
he doesn't know what he's missing. Whatever.
No, but he got the Nutcracker. So that's a good one, Nutcracker. And I picked up a couple of the Atomic Shop stuff too. I like the little Vault Girl elf. She's really cute.
Yeah, I'm really thinking about picking that one up, but she's not available individually. I think you have to get that whole bundle to get the Vault Girl elf blow mold thing, right?
Yeah, she's in a bundle. I don't think you get her separate.
But the red dress is kind of cute, and there's cool like black cat glasses. I know we've got like the white sort of, Elizabeth Taylor glasses, but the kind of got like black cat glasses. Those are kind of cool, and the red dress is pretty, I guess.
Yeah,
Santa, isn't there the Santa plushie too, right? The Santa Mr. Fuzzy? Is he in that?
Yeah, I got the Santa Mr. Fuzzy out of that. So I did piecemeal on that bundle. I did a couple of pieces. So here's what I got. It's called the Holiday Bell Outfit Bundle and the Magic of the Season Bundle. So in the Holiday Bell, you get the Holiday Bell outfit, which is it's pretty cool. It's got the red, it's got the bows on their shoulders. I like that. And it got a cool backpack. We've got a couple versions of that little backpack right there. It's very Gucci. Okay, for all my Infinity Nikki Fallout players who enjoy a good dress-up game, which, let's be honest, a lot of Fallout players like the dress-up game. I like the camp game. So you like the dress-up game, like you. But it's a very Gucci bag. I like that backpack. You also get like a Hope Chest stash box, which is kind of cool. What's great is if you open it up, it's actually, you can see your sweaters and outfits in it too. Like it's got a good animation.
No way. That's great.
And then you get the Santa Mr. Fuzzy plushie and the Plastiform Vault Girl elf. So that is available separate because I did buy that one separately.
Oh, then I'm going to go get that separate, definitely.
Yeah, so those are the two that I got in that. And then I don't remember what's in the Magic of the Season bundle, but I think it's some of the older stuff wrapped up together that we have talked about before. They've still got a lot of bundles on the shop right now. Yeah, under the greatest hits in various places on sale. They're really doing a blowout sale for Christmas, for sure.
Yeah. I think that red dress was kind of like one of the only new things. A lot of stuff is recycled packages and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, pretty much everything in this bundle is new. In the Holiday Bell bundle, all of that is new.
Yeah.
But the Magic of the Season and, the Vault Tech Holiday Village bundle as well, that's technically new because the old Holiday Village was not a Vault Tech Holiday Village.
Oh.
So this is different, but it's also smaller. There's only like maybe 5 buildings and a couple other pieces in this one. And there's not that cute little lamppost. So, in the original Holiday Village bundle, you had probably 12 buildings and, a few items and that lamppost that you could use to light things up and put a spotlight on them.
It's your candlestick, right?
Exactly. That is not in this one. Oh, hey, we've got Kenny Kenpole there in the chat listening. Speaking of people who used to talk about Atomic Shop bundles a lot. What was in them? Yeah, so, but we've got in this one, it's just, like I said, like 5 buildings, a couple extras, no light. So I would say if you could choose between the two, definitely go for the classic Holiday Village. Nice. But if you just can't get enough, you want to set up that little, train set around your Christmas tree, get them both. Anyway, we weren't into Guana bits. We started talking, cool stuff.
Atomic Shop's always appropriate.
It is, isn't it? Then besides that, got some Dragon Age in, of course. Again, I'll make this pretty quick because I got a lot of feedback to get to tonight.
You're rogue. What were you?
Yeah, I'm a rogue.
Nice.
Yep, I'm a dual-wielding human rogue. You got it just right. So, I've said for the last 2 weeks, I'm going to finish this week. Going to finish the week before Christmas? Nope. Going to finish the week of Christmas? Nope. But I am at about 105 hours on the playthrough now. So, it's a long-ass game.
But I think at this point, you're avoiding finishing on purpose.
That's going to come into my resolutions, actually, but we'll get there. Since you can make us do resolutions again. But yeah, I'm at about 105 hours. I am doing a couple of the final quests for the companions. So as you finish companion quests, they become a hero of the Veilguard. And that's kind of like if you think about other games, like their final loyalty mission, or like if you do the entire quest line for any of our companions and say Fallout 4 or whatever, you get to the whole thing and you get the perk and all that when you hit max affinity. Same kind of deal. They get boosted powers and the best stuff when you hit max affinity with them. So getting those, I'm about halfway through those now. My ally strength, they're mostly 3 stars. So, all the stuff I need. The big deal, besides all those quests, was I was hitting the Hizzle Dragizzle hard. That's high dragons for those who don't speak Snoop. High dragons? Yeah, them Hizzle Dragizzle. So there are so many dragons in this game. In Dragon Age Inquisition, you could fight 10 high dragons across the area, but they were almost all optional. These ones, they're kind of optional, but a lot of them on the main quest line. I think I'm at about 7 dragons now. There's, some blighted ones you get on the quest line, so some main quest ones, but you can also follow some other ways. So there are a couple of pretty cool side quests where you unlock the final boss, and these were 2 that I couldn't tackle before. A dragon that's actually a demon, and a dragon that's actually kind of like a blighted creature in the Crossroads. Y'all, you don't play Dragon Age, a lot of people listening, so I won't go too deep into it. They were tough-ass fights, but I got both of them done this week. I'm very proud. I really have everything done that I need to kind of hit that final main story slope. But the game's going to throw a fun curveball at me to distract me on the way. But we're close. We are close. Good fights. But that's pretty much it for my gameplay.
Alrighty, thanks so much. Hey, Ray, did you get a chance playing video games this week?
I have not played any video games this week.
Gasp!
Although I did, I did play video games the week before that I didn't get to talk about.
Oh yeah, well, get on it
because I was Robo.
Oh yeah,
on Hotel Internet, but yeah. So I had when I went into Kerwood Mine, I had the gate that is typically locked from inside. I had it open when I was fighting the mole miners. But when I went in to talk to Mike, um, he would interact with me, but I couldn't advance the quest. The chest with all the loot in it was sitting right there, but I couldn't open it because it needed a key. But the good thing is that so I knew that I needed a key to open that. Then I went to the door to try to go through there, and I had the message that I needed a key for that. And so I knew the keys that I needed to get, and then I went back out and went through the regular way, and was able to get through pretty easily. Mike just wouldn't calm down.
Yeah. Wait.
So I found it
Ray
easier
ate him.
to,
Slip him some Comex.
yeah, and then chew his leg off.
You made a good meal out of him?
Well, it's don't want to leave good veal laying around.
It's true. It's true. Well seasoned for sure.
Yeah. And then when I got back to Foundation, I was like, okay, I'm going to be leaving IRL pretty soon. I need to get this through. So I just paid him the $2,500 and said, here, I'm taking the weapons and you give us food. Now go away. And then, of course, Romani was all impressed that I had, out of pocketed so much cash. I was kind of hoping I would get it back in, when I turned in my expenses, but it was denied.
Yeah, my my expenditures report was also denied. I did not get a reimbursement on my investment either. I was kind of expecting them to. I don't know. I had a ton of caps, so I was like, "Fuck it, who cares?" But I was kind of like, "Oh, huh? It's just only a thank you. Like you didn't offer to like reimburse me through weapons or training or further technological advancements or power armor training or it's something. You know what I mean? Instead of just like a thank you for your caps."
From who? Who are we talking about?
Romani
at the end there. I was kind of expecting more fanfare. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, but the conversation there between her and Shin, like, I don't know if our feedback people will get into it, but again, Shin is speaking a little bit more truth than Romani is, and it's funny because Romani is in favor of, well, she's actually not in favor of training them. Shin's like, good, if you offer to train them, because I know there are different ways to go through it, but if you offer to train them, Shin says, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's teach them to be a little bit more able to defend themselves, but not with our advanced equipment, and maybe that'll help them stand against Crater. And Romani says, I don't know if they want to join our banner, that's fine, but I don't want to make them more militant. And Shin says, oh, you only want to train them if they're willing to fly our flag. I thought that was, wow, that was interesting. But anyway, yeah, so you guys didn't get any cool compensation for turning that in and bringing stuff back.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
I felt bad for the people at Foundation in the same way because we basically a wish and a prayer. Like you just kind of, you bring that stuff in there demanding, okay, thanks, but now, give us back our weapons too. We got Mike here. And you can basically just talk them out of it. You're like, you can obviously tell that these things aren't safe to have. You do the intelligence check or whatever. And they're like, oh, your eyes are so sparkly. Way to rizz me up. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And like, we'll just take training. Like, you're giving them basically nothing. They spent caps on these weapons. They're going to get training. Like, what? Hopefully we actually arm them with something, less dangerous than rocket launchers too. I hope. Because I felt like I took them for a ride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I did. I went through my Steam year in review.
Oh, cool.
Well, how are we looking, Ray?
So I played 10 games this year, which were 3 more than last year.
Cool.
although my longest streak took a big hit. So my longest streak this year was 42 days, which was 74 days less than last year.
Damn.
A lot of my gameplay this past year was Fallout London, which isn't on Steam. And so it didn't count towards that. So I've got a big gap where, most of my Fallout London play fell.
That does make sense, and that's a good 3-4 months.
Yeah.
What's your guesstimated hour count in Fallout London, or day count, whatever?
Oh gosh.
Do you really want to admit this? You might have to enter a 12-step program.
I just want to see if it, equates a little bit.
Yeah. So it doesn't add like the other game. It's not like Steam where they give you a total hours played. And so you have to go through and add up every one of them.
Lame.
But if you just kind of go, I would say probably 300 to 400 hours.
Yep, that makes sense.
Nice.
Between all the characters. I've played through the whole game 3 times. Plus I've got 4 or 5 other characters that I've just played.
Goal-specific things, yep.
Yeah. So.
What was your total Steam hour count, did you say?
Oh, no, it didn't give me a total for
everything.
For all the games combined.
Okay.
But it's up there.
It is, indeed. Yeah, I went back and checked my Xbox Gear review, and by playing a lot this month, I have pushed it over 1,000 hours. So I'm feeling better now, but that's still, that's a pittance compared to your hour count, I'm sure.
I mean, I've got 1,000 hours in single games.
For the year? Yeah. Yeah.
So for the year, my top game was Starfield. So 58% of my time was in Starfield.
Wow.
As expected.
Yeah. So it's always interesting to go through those because they metric them in ways that you don't really think about. As far as the time you spend in the game, and they give you a chart for each game that points out what your hour, what your gameplay was each month. So and you can see everything drop off when I started playing London. And then it started to come back, and then it dropped off. My Starfield gameplay hit rock bottom when I started playing Stalker 2.
Yeah.
And then it popped back up at the end of the month when I started doing that level 200 character.
Those trends are really neat. You can see a lot. Like my heaviest month on Xbox showed as April until now. When at the beginning of December when I ran it, it showed April. And that was, of course, we're prepping for the show coming out. We are just in the depth of our Fallout 3 Roundtable, which Fallout 3 was my 5th most played game this year. So I put, a decent amount of time into it for the Roundtable. But now it's December. It was the busiest month because I played so much.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah. So we'll see.
I was about to ask if they foolishly counted Stalker 1, 2, and 3 as just one game, or if you played any of those this year anyway.
The only one that showed up on the list was Call of Pripyat.
1.3?
Yeah.
Part of the OG trilogy.
Yeah. or you could call it 1C.
1C. There you go.
The preferred nomenclature, Andrew.
Even though they're
But-
totally different games built on different systems by, they're same thing. Whatever. Same thing.
It's Stalker 2. Deal with it.
It's Stalker goddamn 4.
Any other games, Ray, or anything
yeah.
else this week you want to talk about?
No, the only other new game that of note for the year was Kingdom Come.
Right. Yes, we've gotten into that for a bit in preparation for the second one.
Yeah. So that one I had just done a little more than 100 hours in.
Solid. That's right about where my Baldur's Gate 3 is. That was my fourth most played game in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that was it.
All right, very fun. Thank you, sir. My gameplay, nothing too fancy. Been cashing in those presents every day. I was building them and opening them all every day too, but the last 3 or 4 days have just like collected them and said, they're in my stash box or whatever. So I'm gonna have a big old present construction, then deconstruction party. Wrap up or unwrap some presents here pretty soon. Been collecting those. How does that go? Is that through next Tuesday or the Tuesday after that we're getting all these gifts in the Atomic Shop? Do you know?
Oh, for the Scorchy Scorched? Yeah, it should be through next Tuesday, if I remember correctly. I can pull up the calendar, but it started, the week before Christmas.
That we were getting them in the
January
Atomic
2nd.
Shop?
It is over on the 2nd of January,
Okay.
which, wait, that is Monday. Yeah, so Monday's the last full day. It will be a Tuesday, basically, at noon like usual.
Yeah, cool. All right. No, so I've just been collecting those. Haven't opened a bunch, but the ones I did open the first couple days, I got a bunch. I think I mentioned last time I got a bunch of cool the blow molds and stuff like that. So I had fun putting up some dinosaurs and hanging Christmas decorations off the dinosaurs. So because I was inspired by Ray's trip to. He stopped at the Pee Wee Herman dinosaurs, the Boone dinosaur, and took a picture, and it was really awesome. And they have him painted as Santa Claus right now, so it was all just very festive and cool. So
It's the coolest. It really is the coolest.
yeah, what is that? What is that truck stop called, or what is that place called? What is that? It's
Cabazon.
It's not called Novak, right?
No.
And it's actually in California, technically, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say Cabazon?
Yeah, Cabazon.
Cabazon. Interesting. Cool. Yeah, that's
it's not even the same desert. The New Vegas is set in the high desert, and this is the low desert. So, but who can resist the dinosaur?
I wouldn't know
totally.
the difference anyway.
I found, fun fact, which some people already know, but you also took a picture of the sister dinosaur there, the large Brontosaurus, which the Brontosaurus is the item that we got in Fallout 76, originally orange, and now like the red one. And people are like, why do we have a weird random Brontosaurus? Well, technically, this is another dinosaur that matches Dinky the dinosaur. So it has kind of a canon source there.
Yeah, and he's painted red right now.
He is red, just like in 76.
That's great that they paint him for the season. That's funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been doing the workshop thing, putting Santatrons down, doing the loop,
Getting them gifts.
getting them gifts. Like I said, I haven't done a big opening yet. I opened a few the first few days, got some stuff, but I'm really holding out for that the Santa sleigh and reindeer blow mo. I still haven't gotten that one. What else? Mo got some cool games for Christmas, so we've been playing that. We've been playing lots of Sonic the Hedgehog, and he's been asking me a lot about that because I had a Sega Genesis back in the day, and Sonic was a big deal in my house. We played a ton of that. So he's just been, we've been playing a lot of that, and he's been asking about, like, oh, is this what it was like? And, so I've been trying to tell him, like, Sonic the Hedgehog was fucking mind-blowing. I'd never seen anything so fast in my life, but if we're playing here on Switch, if I set my Sega Genesis version up against this Switch, I guarantee you I would laugh at the Genesis version in comparison to, like, how cool and fast and slick the Switch version is now. You know what I mean? And he's like, I was just like, the graphics are probably terrible, but I remember it as the fucking coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's like remakes always look like how you remember the game. Then you go back and take a look and you're like, oh shiz.
No.
Like Skyrim Anniversary Edition, Skyrim has always looked like that, obviously.
Of course. Yes. Very slick. No, so we've been playing lots of Sonic the Hedgehog, which has been really fun. Let's see what else. 76. I went ahead and got the dog package too, not just the cat. So I figured that'd be fun to play with too. And then you can't put both. I assumed that you couldn't put both down, but I confirmed that you cannot put both the dog and the cat down at the same time, which is total bullshit. I wanted to have both walking around, but you can still do your, like, the dog robot Collectron thing and have the cat walking around. So have that going on at least. Other than that, I haven't done just the normal gameplay. I've been I was talking to Jess before the show. I want to get, or maybe this was during the show. I want to get my jetpack going. So that's what I'm going to concentrate on next.
Yeah, that was before the show. We're talking about the whole Boolean system. And I know y'all playing 76, you know how Boolean starts to get it through the Wastelanders quest line and finishing Vault 79 and all that, which we've done in a previous roundtable. But these days you can also get it from public events. So after they launched Minerva, now pretty much any character that does the certain public events, you can get your treasury notes, which you then exchange for Boolean. So you can get it. You can also get it off the scoreboard. So there are ways to get Boolean, but you don't, get as much as you would doing the quest line, of course.
And then Sonny, or whatever his name is there at Foundation. And is it Sonny? No. Who's the gold bullion vendor right there?
Forgetting his name. Crossed Arms. What's the John anyway? I'm suddenly forgetting his name. But yeah, you've got him there leaning up.
And I blanked on the one at Raiders too, at Crater. Well, shit, we're not helpful at all.
There's a robot there, and then of course I think it's Regs in 79, right? I want to say Sully is his name, but it might just be because I'm thinking of Sullivan.
Sully? I don't know. Is it Sunshine
okay,
or something weird like that? I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Minerva, which, that kind of changed things. Minerva will be back at the Crater in 2 days, by the way, if you were wondering.
Oh, yeah. Let's go to meet up with Minerva. All right, yeah, that's all my gameplay. So, you guys want to start getting into see what everybody else has been playing?
Let's go.
Let's roll into some feedback.
We make feedback.
What's up, everyone? This is Pyro Anderson, along with the other guy for whatever he does around here. I have no idea.
Hey, come on now. You're crashing at my place, aren't you?
Yeah, whatever. I built my own place in the wasteland. So, since the last holotape I sent in, I have been pretty busy. That nice robot at the Wayward, I think her name's Polly, got her a nice Assaultron body so she can do some damage. And also, I got Crane's treasure, but I immediately scrapped it because it wasn't nearly as good as what I have. I also met up with the Overseer, and she convinced me to get this injection that prevents me from getting the Scorch Plague. Then she directed me to some batshit crazy robot named Rose. As much as I like her attitude, I kinda want to scrap her for parts, because she's sending me to do some pretty dangerous stuff. Which is all well and good, but she's got kind of a psychotic, sadistic twist to her that I don't want to mess with for too long. It's gonna get me killed. But I also joined this group called the Fire Breathers. They sent me down into the burning mine for some test that seems like nobody else was able to pass, but I did just fine, so...
Nobody, just you, Pyro.
Actually call me a fire breather now. Then I decided it was time to get back to what I was doing with the Brotherhood, so I went and talked to Night Shin. The fact that a group of raiders have possession of some of their weapons makes him uneasy, and I agree. Shin's a smart dude, and his plan was to talk them into handing the weapons over nicely before we went in guns blazing. Worth a shot. So we make our way over to this makeshift vault, and they were there to greet us. They had no intention of handing the weapons over. It said finders keepers, which I can appreciate. But I've seen what people like this do with weapons like that. I'm not about to have a rocket shoved up my ass everywhere I turn. I had every intention of talking to them like Shin suggested, but unfortunately my fingers slipped. Oh well, they probably weren't gonna talk anyway. People like that typically don't. So we took them out pretty easily, and after the dust settled, Pierce wanted me specifically to talk to him at Crater. He didn't trust Night Shin. I will say, though, that Shin was none too happy that I decided to shoot first and ask questions later, which, whatever. Once he was done railing my ass, he directed me to go talk to them at Crater, and he'd meet me back at Fort Atlas afterward. I then made my way up to Fort Atlas and interrupted a conversation between Pierce and some girl named Sheena. Pierce said he didn't trust me and didn't want to give the information over of where he got the weapons, but Sheena seemed to like me, so she was willing to give me the information at a price. I was hoping she'd want to have a little bit of fun time, but no, she wanted me to get information from the Brotherhood. I thought about it for a second, and as nice as the Brotherhood has been to me when I'm not getting chewed out by people, I really have no loyalty to them. I'm just in it for what they can do for me. They've been supplying me with some pretty great stuff, but you know what? We need this information, so I got it for her and gave it to Sheena. Turns out that these raiders got the crates from two sources. One from a Brotherhood group that they killed, and the other came from Foundation. That's going to be a bit of a problem. I brought this information back to Night Shin, and it turns out that he knew the knight who had been killed. The raiders carried around his helmet like a trophy, and that didn't sit too well with him. He told me to take this information to Romani, who had apparently been in contact with Foundation. Romani sent me to Foundation to talk to Gloria Chance. Apparently she's the one that Romani has been in contact with. Once I got there, Gloria thought I was there delivering Blamco mac and cheese. What? Once I explained the situation, they were pretty steadfast that they get to keep the weapons because they'd paid a lot of money for them. Her husband was a bit of a loudmouth, and I really wanted to punch him. She then told me that a group of their residents went to go test some of these Hellfire missile launchers, because that's a good idea. She wanted me to go find them. I get there, and the place looked like a bomb had gone off. There was actually a body that had been blown to pieces that was being eaten by a possum. After some quick investigating, I've determined that Mike was holed up in a nearby cave. It looked like he'd been the one that killed everybody. Made my way to the cave and had to clear out some mole miners, but found Mike locked behind a barricade. He was determined to stay there until he died. He felt super guilty for killing everybody. He wouldn't unlock the door for anything and said that the way behind him was flooded. No problem, I've got Aqua Boy. Made my way underwater and came out and had to kill some more mole miners, but I made my way to Mike, explained to him the situation, and told him that the people at Foundation have no idea what they were doing with those missile launchers and needed to hand them over. Yeah, it sucked that he killed a bunch of people, but shit happens in the wasteland. That's no reason to throw in the towel. You learn from your mistakes and live to fight another day. I think he understood what I was trying to say. May not have said it the best way, but I think he understood. So he went back to Foundation, and I talked to Gloria afterward. He was there, and we agreed that they would hand over the weapons if we sent some people there to train them properly. Made my way back to Foundation, and surprisingly, Romani was the one that was furious. I thought she was all about strengthening the wasteland, but she said that providing these people military training would cause an imbalance. What? And Shin was actually on my side. He's like, so you're only willing to train these people if they're flying our colors? That's kind of hypocritical. He was right on the money with that. People have the right to proper training. How the hell else are they supposed to be able to defend themselves? What, we're supposed to just lay back and let these monsters overwhelm us? I don't think so. But that's about it for the Brotherhood stuff. Other than that, I've just been running around doing events and getting some of those sweet holiday presents. Also, I briefly met this new guy in the Wasteland. I can't, what's his name? Hard Knock Holmes. That's what it was. Just kind of met them in passing. Seems like a nice enough guy. Went back to my camp and was immediately attacked by the Mothman. Never met him before, but what the hell did I do to piss him off? Anyway, hey, why don't you come wrap this up? Oh God, I fell asleep. Yeah, sure. So, yeah, it's it's been kind of crazy in the Wasteland lately with all the Christmas presents, and I don't know what it is, but Mothman just always seems to love making house calls to me. It's just every single character. I swear, I go to my camp and Mothman is there to greet me. So, as much as I love running into Mothman, I really wish that he wasn't always out for my blood. So, anyway, I hope y'all are having a great holiday and Happy New Year, and I will see you all in the Wasteland.
Thank you so much, sir. I plopped a little picture that Solior sent in with his feedback into the group chat over there on our Discord. It shows a possum munching on the corpse of the person who blew themselves up testing out those Hellfire missile launchers.
Hungry possum, for sure.
Hungry possums. So, if you want to be possum fodder, test out a Hellfire missile launcher, everybody. Ugh.
That's how we clean up the wasteland, nothing left but those bones. So, Pyro, once again, such a charmer. Such a charmer. He thought, Sheena, he turned on the charm with Sheena. Sheena liked him. Thought he might get some fun time. Apparently, no, something tells me that maybe she turned the actual tables on him and got him to do her dirty work. But, maybe that's just my interpretation. I also felt bad for his butt because he got a rocket up his ass. He got Shin chewing out his ass, and I think someone reamed his ass. So that's a lot going on there. Pyro. But no, that was a really fun telling of the story. I enjoyed that.
And he doesn't, although it's stated otherwise in the feedback, he doesn't seem like he's like a very Christmassy person, so I don't know if collecting all these gifts is like really up his alley, but he seems to be enjoying it, so who am I to say?
Yeah. He's not all bad. I mean, he's a fire breather now. That's
a respectable position.
Again, you heard, of course, he's the only one who could accomplish that fire breather task in the mine there. Nobody else could.
Of course.
When I heard that, I was like, so who isn't?
I mean, people who don't do the main quest. But yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Any other feedback on Soliors tonight?
Let's check in with Vanessa.
Hi everyone, it's Vanessa just checking in with my latest Roundtable feedback. Just before we get started on the quest, a little bit on my character. So I just hit level 50 at the end of the 2 quests that we've just done. And I've had over the last week a little bit of luck on gear, so I dropped myself a slugbuster rifle from one of the mutated packs. And then I was grouped up with a player that was like level 1000 and something. That's made me a set of level 50 civil engineer armour with a bunch of legendary effects on, so thanks very much to that person. Also started to look into mutations because I hadn't got any, so I was watching the Angry Turtle video where he recommended that low level players should just get everything and then the positives would outweigh the negatives. So on that note, that's where we'll catch up with my character, Jim. Jim comes to once again after downing yet more bottles of dirty water. To his surprise, the mutations he's racking up actually make him feel better, not worse. He can move faster, jump higher, fall slower, and carry more stuff. This is amazing. The only negative effect seems to be some odd hallucinations. He swears blind that he's seen several Scorched wearing Santa outfits, but with a clearer head they haven't appeared to him since. Very odd. He really needs to check in with the Brotherhood again. He's been doing his own thing around Morgantown and Grafton, as well as heading down to Charleston on the trail of the responders. At this rate, he'll be expelled from their ranks for desertion. Arranging to meet with Knight Shin to recover yet more missing weapons, he makes his way back up north to a small bunker. He arrives ahead of the Knight and heads inside, where he's accosted by the raider, Pierce. After some idle chit-chat, Knight Shin arrives with a couple of other soldiers and takes the lead in the discussions. Jim is a touch embarrassed by the Knight's condescending tone, which Pierce seems to notice, and starts to ask him about his loyalties. He gives a non-committal response about the weapons, but then remembers which side he's on and points out to Pierce that the BOS have the upper hand here. The raiders back down, but refuse to reveal any information on how they came to have the weapons unless they're back on home turf in Crater. Shin sends Jim to Crater, where Sheena, Pierce's sidekick, offers to trade BOS intel for details on the weapons. Pierce isn't willing to negotiate with someone that would betray their own side, but Jim needs to go back to Atlas with results, and this seems to be the only way to move things forward, so he makes the deal with Sheena as soon as Pierce leaves the room. On his way back, he starts to worry about his choice. Shin will have noticed his lack of enthusiasm in the initial confrontation, and now what if the offer on the intel is viewed with suspicion? He decides to seek the advice of Scribe Valdez. After exhausting all possible small talk with her in an attempt to see the lie of the land, she assures him that she has his back. Well, that's a relief. He confesses his attempts at cutting a deal, and she helps him with some fake data to take back to the raiders. Luckily, Sheena doesn't seem to consider the possibility that the intel may not be good, and informs him that, basically, there's barely anyone in the wasteland who doesn't have BOS weapons. Even the settlers have got hold of them. With that information, he heads back to Paladin Romani, who's naturally concerned about the extent of the lost shipments. He's immediately sent off to Foundation, still on the trail of the weapons, but also with an instruction to make a trade deal. Food and water from the settlers in return for, well, that bit seems to be up to him. He's optimistic about his chances. He's done some work for Ward in the past and has a foot in the door at Foundation, so he's not prepared for the insufferable couple, Gloria and Tad, that he has to deal with over the missing weapons. To cut a long story short, there are rocket launchers, a test-firing dead settlers, and a guy called Mike barricaded in a flooded mine. Mike blames himself for the deaths and swears that he'll die rather than go back to Foundation to face the consequences. By the time he's fought through mole miners and swum through toxic water, Jim is quite ready to grant Mike his death wish. But he needs to make the trade deal happen with the settlers, so he convinces him to head back home and explain what happened. He expects the death of their people to convince Gloria and Tad that the weapons are best returned to the Brotherhood, but no, they bought them and they will keep them. In the end, he's able to negotiate their return along with providing the requested food and water in return for defence training from the Brotherhood. Inwardly congratulating himself on his negotiating skill, he's slightly surprised that Romani thinks this is a bad idea. He thought she wanted to help the people of the wasteland. It seems that she doesn't want to do anything to affect the existing balance of power. Just as well, she's let weapons get into the hands of all factions equally then, he thinks to himself. So that's the end of the quests. So I'm currently, obviously, we're doing this Brotherhood quest line for the Roundtable. I'm also working through Wastelanders and the main quest. I'm not really sure which one's which, to be honest. So my thought for Jim is that he's just currently weighing up his loyalties. He's not quite sure about the Brotherhood, or the settlers, or the raiders. He doesn't really know if the responders are still in existence. So yeah, he's still trying to figure those types of things out. So that's where we are. Hope everyone had a good Christmas and a great New Year. Bye.
I would say if the quest is given by a holotape or terminal, old main quest. Given by a person, new main quest. Right? The Wastelanders
Yes.
main quest.
Or robot. Holotape, person, or robot. Because we got Rose and the Grafton Mayor in there, too.
Right. You didn't play the game when it first came out, but it was a fucking ghost town. There was no one besides... We got all of our quests, we got our assignments, we got everything from holotapes or terminals that people left for us to go do things to, and there were no people to interact with. So
Yeah.
if you're interacting with people, that's new.
You go
I don't
into
mean new. You know what I mean?
Flatwoods.
Yeah.
No, but you go into Flatwoods, there was no responder and cute dog wandering around. There was none of that. You walk by an old greenhouse, there were no people there grunting and being like, lots of folk going to set up places like Foundation. There was none of that. There was no Foundation. Foundation was called Spruce Knob. There was nothing there, and we liked it.
Yep.
And
We liked
Crater.
it that way.
Crater was just an abandoned satellite, but like laid down on its side. None of this big erection and tents and everything there. It was on its side. You could just explore through and you could find a spacesuit in it. And you're like, damn, that's freaking cool. I got a spacesuit. And that was it. And we liked it.
We love that spacesuit, man.
We did. Wavy Willards, there was nothing there except for a bunch of scorch shooting your ass. And then Miss Nanny, of course, you could still meet her. And she sent you hither and yon across the Toxic Valley for like 3 days to a
she did.
dam and an abandoned building and a lake and all over. And we liked it. Of course, we also did it too quick, too, because that gun you get from her is much better at level 50 than it is at like level 20.
Yeah, wait.
But yeah,
Yeah. Thank you so much there, Vanessa.
I really like what's happening with Jim there, and that Jim's also doing the Wastelander quest line, too. That's great to get it mixed in.
Yeah, that's fun to
And-
hear her play it for the first time, too, you know?
You notice that everybody has commented on the Romani Shin thing, so I definitely wasn't alone on that. See, it did seem incongruous to me, but I guess it does make sense because Romani doesn't want to militarize the wasteland. She wants to keep things as peaceful as possible, and so she thinks training them as opposed to letting them defend themselves will actually, upset the balance and make them possibly more militant, which, again, I don't agree with in this case. Defending yourself is good, especially when there are raiders about, but hey.
They just, you can
How
tell.
are the Raiders getting good without training?
I think the truth is they're just not that good. But practice, right? Practice makes perfect. So they're out there shooting things, taking things. It's survival of the fittest. And a lot of jet. Not that there's any jet in 76. Sorry, guys. I did not say there was a jet in 76. Don't come after me. But no, chems in general.
All right. Thank you, Vanessa. We've got Will coming up here.
Hey, Fallout friends, Will here, recording this for a second time because my mic was muted the first time and I didn't notice. Anyways, hoping everyone's holidays have been great. I did these quests on Christmas Day where Danger started out doing the old Santatron workshop thing, opening a bunch of holiday gifts, and then still donning his holiday morning robe and Santa hat, went on over to Fort Atlas to talk to Knight Shin, where he tasked Danger with securing a storeroom of dangerous stolen Brotherhood weapons, as well as determining the weapon's source. Danger heads over to the makeshift vault where he runs into a raider named Pierce, who's like, oh, you're the Brotherhood, here to claim the property. There's a little bit of talk. Shin suddenly appears. Compliance will assure your safety. It's a little tense, but, there's a charisma check Danger takes. He's like, look, you won't gain anything from keeping this storeroom. Do you really want to sacrifice lives? Pierce admits he has a point, although Brotherhood has really no strategic leverage and is a waste of resources. But in Danger still, it's like, look, it'll make us look bad if these weapons terrorize people. So they kind of agree and just leave, and Shin still wants to know where the weapon source came from, but Pierce won't say, and says that if you really want to know, you come to the Crater. Afterwards, Shin did not like that Danger was compromising. He said, the Brotherhood doesn't compromise, and I wasn't really sure Danger compromised at all. I thought he was sort of straightforward and said how it was. However, it's now over to the Crater because finding the weapon source is his new top priority after some alcohol. I have decided that being assigned Charisma 15, I might lean into the alcohol build some, with the card Happy Go Lucky, which increases luck with alcohol, and Party Boy, which increases the benefits from. I already use vodka with my usual main character a lot because it's like the only pre-war one that increases health along with them, and I find it useful, so I thought this would work for Danger as well, and I think they have that card Professional Drinker, which you don't get addicted. Anyways, Danger's goes in the crater war room. Pierce is sort of surprised, like, "Oh, you really came?" And Danger's, "Yeah, I'm here to chat, make friends." But Pierce refuses to talk still. I guess he changed his mind. However, Sheena is there, and she will. She tells him that she will tell him about the weapons, but wants something in return. Intel on the Brotherhood. Danger takes her little blank holotape, goes over to Fort Atlas, talks to Valdez about his little problem there, but she has a solution. She's got some dummy files that he can load on the tape. So he does that, being careful to grab the right files because he's not about to out the Brotherhood, and turns over the dummy files to Sheena, who tells him that there's not one source and mentions that the Foundation maybe has some, as well as some Raider friends that were visiting that killed some Brotherhood people, they think. Danger goes to Knight Shin back at Atlas and tells him about the Raiders, and as well as Foundation having it. And Shin starts like, "Oh, it's worse than I thought. All because of..." And then he gets lost. "Forgive me. I lost my composure." So there's something that happened there. And then he says, "Peaceful or not, civilians should not have access to that kind of tech. Too easy for things to go wrong." And that reminds Danger of a quote he heard from Miss Anatron just earlier that morning. "Mankind is a naughty plague on this gentle planet." But that ends that quest, and he starts supplying demands by talking to Romani, who was already wanting to establish trade with Foundation. So she says, "Go over there, meet with Gloria Chance, the supply room supervisor, see if they know anything about the weapons, and establish a trade deal." She sort of stresses that they are both equally important, and reminds him, Danger, I represent the Brotherhood. He gets over there to the supply room, and Gloria mistakes him at first for being there about a missing mac and cheese shipment, and Danger tells him, well, as important as that sounds, no, he wants to know about some weapons. Tad, another gentleman in the room, says, "Oh, those tubes of explosive death with your logo on the side?" Danger's, "Yeah, it sounds familiar. Can I take a look at them?" And they tell him, "Sure, but they're not there. They're being tested, although that party has been out too long. You can go look for them." He goes over that way to where they were supposed to be at East Mountain Lookout and finds a big old hole in the ground. Some remains inside, and upon investigation, sees dead bodies around that are obviously from Foundation. He's looking, and during his investigation, he climbs up that tower, looks around there, doesn't see anything, and I jumped off. There's been a little bit of talk. People have been bringing up goat legs lately. And one of the things with my main character is I just jump off everything. New River, Gorge, Bridge, cliffs, all sorts of stuff. And character never dies. Serendipity always kicks in. So I always sort of thought that was just the best way to go. But I jumped off and died. So I guess because my main character is bloodied and has 5... Well, I have luck maxed out with 15, then all 5 pieces, unyielding armor. The luck is usually in the 30s to 40s. And Danger, while he is wearing 3 pieces of unyielding armor, I only have 3 points put in it. I think it's probably only averaging 14 or so. So that happened. So I look around a little bit more, find a holotape where he learns that someone named Mike had picked up the launchers wrong, and that was the accident that killed everyone. But there's no one around there, and there's a terminal with a secret password that I didn't know. So I'm looking around. I was like, oh, maybe I missed it up there in the tower. Climb back up in the tower. It's not up there. I'm like, well, I wonder if that last time I jumped off was just an aberration. So I jumped off and died. Although this time when I'm looking around, I did find Mike's bag there with the secret password 12345. Danger's like, what a dumb password. It's like, I use 54321, and starts heading off in the direction that it seems like Mike ran off to.
That's funny.
In his fear. When I do, because I don't learn, and I'm still trying to figure out if this is real, I jump off one of the cliffs on the way and die. But I get over there to Carwood Mine, where Mike is hiding behind supposed to be hiding behind some locked doors. I go in there, I'm talking to Mike, and he's like, don't come any closer. He's like, talks about how the door is locked from the inside, and I won't get there, and there's water all around, and then I look, and the door's just wide open. I'm in there talking to him, and I suddenly remember doing this a long time ago, and it's like, oh, there's all that water I gotta swim through. I'm like, sweet, I just got a shortcut through this quest. except the little chest there will not open because I need a Brotherhood of Steel key. I think maybe I could have just killed Mike there, and maybe I would have got it. I don't know, but I didn't do it. So I ended up doing it the right way. I went around the long way through the water, all that, found out holotape, and I never did see the Brotherhood of Steel key. I was a little curious, but I found myself standing exactly where I was before, talking to Mike. Danger reassures him he's not there to hurt him. He understands what happened, and he says the people will forgive him and to just come back. Finally, Mike agrees, but insists that he has to take the weapons back himself alone. There's a perception check there Danger used. He's like, and blow yourself up? You better let me bring them back. Mike sort of realizes, oh God, I dragged them all in here. Man, that was dumb. So he's like, you're right. Fine, you bring them back. And he gives Danger the weapons key, and that was it. He has the Brotherhood supplies in hand. They go back over to the supply room, or rather Danger does, and Mike's already in there apologizing to Ted and Gloria. Danger offers his condolences and if there's anything he can do to help. Tad was just upset that Danger already had the weapons, and Gloria said they cost them too much and they had to have them back. Danger passes another perception check there. It's like, your people lack discipline, not weaponry. Let us keep the weapons and we'll offer training. Tad, it's hard to argue with. And Mike says, yeah, it's true. Maybe if I had training, there wouldn't have been an accident. And Gloria acquiesces also. It's like, okay, weapons are safer with you, but what do you need? What does the Brotherhood need in return for this? Danger says, you can provide us with food supplies and any intel on unusual weapons like this in the future. So they're all agreed and very happy, except for Tad, who's a little concerned that this training might involve push-ups. Back at Fort Atlas, Danger says, hey, I'm back with the weapons and a trade deal. And Foundation will also report weaponry and accept training from us. And Shin was very happy about it, saying it will be mutually beneficial. And this surprised me that Romani was not as happy, saying that if Foundation gets too militant, there might be unbalance in the land. But Danger felt like he did everything perfect. He had accomplished both goals, and in the end Romani was still actually proud that he did do that. And that was it. That ended the quest. Off to talk to Valdez, and I will see you all in the wasteland.
Not having that key seems to be the crux, a lot of people's problem. The door walking in the door and then not having that key on the way back seems to be. So what is causing that door to be open, though? Is that just a random bug, or is there some occurrence, some effect, some event, something you're picking up that causes that to happen on your way in, or what?
So, it's the butterfly effect, right? We picked up a can of crayon at one point, like hours in the past when it happened. No, but it's an instance. So being an instance, it should render fresh each time for people.
You're right.
Right,
yeah.
Ray? I'm wondering if maybe if you're on a server where it's previously opened, if they're somehow pulling an instance that already happened when you enter it, but generating the items for you still. I don't know what would cause it.
I was on a private server. It seemed to happen when I was in the fight with the mole miners. There was a lot of exploding. There was a lot of grenading.
Do you think the physics could, instead of, because you do have to click on the latch to open it, but do you think the physics could jostle it open as well? Is that possible?
I think it's probably possible. It's I've had it happen before on things where you if things get a little bit rowdy, that latches will pop open.
Yeah, because there are two types of latches. There are latches that are actually physical items that move, and then there are ones that are simply locks. Like they might look like a physical manifestation of something else, but it's still just a lock. And because this one's, you had to click A to activate on it, I was thinking of it as a lock, but maybe there's not. Maybe there's something more complex and physics-based on it.
Yeah, I think the bars are something that can be, opened without, because it's not a key. Doors where you have to have a key, that's the only way to get them open.
I kind of want to go back in there and shoot it a lot with something explosive and see if it,
I think explosives
moves.
are the key.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense. And of course, mole miners aren't generally in there, but if the mole miners are in there or too close to it, they're in the front room, but I guess if you get too close to the cage while you're fighting them is when it could happen, right? Because I mostly took them out near the front door. Like, that's kind of normal, but
You should
you get all
test
the
it
way.
out.
And
You should test it out with one of those Hellfire missile launchers without any training.
That's
without any
perfect. Mike would
training.
love that. No PTSD there at all.
Hey, Mike, I got a project for you, buddy. Come here.
Here, let me just give you this, and I'm going to walk away 20 paces. Oh, that's horrible. That is just horrible.
Yeah, for me, the mole miners congregated on that platform right in front of Mike.
Hmm.
So
You're like,
So
sing, give us a song, Mike.
Danger's doing great, though. I like the intro, too, where Danger started. And, getting on that Christmas holiday robe and just wandering into Atlas.
Yeah, that's cute. After
Making
some
friends.
alcohol, of course.
Mhm.
Good job, Will. Thank you, sir. Let's see what Pip-Boy Steve has been getting into this holiday season.
Kia ora, everybody. Steve here with my feedback for Wilson Phillips. We are at Atlas, and I head out on foot towards the Toxic Valley. And when I get there, we're going by the range, and the daily quest target-rich environment pops up. And I can use the workbenches at the range anyway, so we go in there and pick up that quest, and it turns out the targets are right near where the makeshift vault is that we're headed, so that works out. I do end up grabbing the targets while we're over there, and then I get that quest wrapped up as we pass by, headed for Crater. I'm mentioning this because I am trying to stick to no fast travel, which means no public events, right? The kind that you fast travel to. So, purposely crippling myself, but I am taking daily quests that I run past and notice and can knock out. And so I get to Crater, we have that chat, and then I go to head back on foot back to Atlas all the way. I turn in the tapes to Scribe Valdez, and she gives me the dummy info. So I am siding with the Brotherhood here. I'm not gonna give their information to Crater. So head back out, and I want to go a different way, So I head downhill through Mana, and when I'm there, I uncover this nest of mole miners. They just kept coming. They were just coming from all over the town to pile up on me. It was a fight that was awesome. It ended up in a chain of 6 cars all exploding around me. It was epic. But other than that, the trip was fairly uneventful, as I recall. We get to Crater, and I turn in the quest and learn that the next step is return to Atlas. I love these quests where you just go back and forth, bouncing between one point. And so this time, though, I'm going to go up, and I'm going by the Prickett Fort. And so I can pick up the daily Buried with Honor, where you go get the soldier remains and then bury them in the Philippi Battlefield Cemetery. That's always fun.
Yeah.
Don't forget to shovel.
Yeah.
And
There's one leaning on the
then
tree.
I head up and around the backside of the palace, so north of the Palace of the Winding Path. And that was great. There's a bunch of little non-marked locations back there to discover. Just stuff like random campsites or odd ruined buildings. But just a couple of areas that I normally don't see, because when do you ever run around above the Palace of the Winding Path? You don't.
Nope.
I'm still using the pistol, the Fact Finder, that the Brotherhood gave me. It's not as impactful now that I'm at level 29. That's where I am. The leveling is slow with 1 intelligence. But that's fun, because obviously I'm not in an XP hurry. But then, after I get to Atlas, they decide, they're sending me all the way down to Foundation. And as I'm going, I'm running across random enemies like the mole miners I spoke of earlier. I'm it's just not enough. It's taking too many shots, and so anyways, I'm not getting new legendary weapons or armor much. I have run across a few big legendary enemies, but they always out level me like a level 50 Wiga. I've never seen those before. What is that? They're huge. I'm not attacking that. So I get a chance to use Sneak, which is my assigned agility perk. So I am using Sneak to get around some big guys. I am also on the side when I have time, taking care of the Brotherhood quest first, but on the side I am doing a couple of the Mistress of Mystery quests to do the weapons. I'm hoping
sweet.
maybe, I don't know, I thought maybe that those could be my weapons I could pick up, albeit half Brotherhood, half Mistress of Mystery character, but I don't know. Anyway, I did use a private world to do a drop shipment of stim packs to Wilson Phillips from my main at a train station because I was just eating up stim packs. So I had them meet up at a train station, the one in the south there of the Savage Divide. I can't remember the name of it. I am really enjoying the slow traveling back and forth and trying to figure out how to get up cliffs or mountains to get to your destination or travel around, or some areas are just a death trap for characters like me. I'm looking at you, Valley, with the pumpkin house. That's a deadly valley if you're not prepped up. Scorched beasts flying around. So I went and found Mike, the Foundation guy that killed the other Foundation people. I fumbled about in that mine, but ended up killing Mike to get the key. So I got the weapons, and I snuck back up to Atlas, going uphill past West Tech, and then south to the west of Hunterville, avoiding fights. I'm not headed to Atlas. I'm headed towards Foundation now. And then I got to the Foundation warehouse, and I told them that I had to kill Mike, and that really pissed them off. And I wanted to pick the option to be all aggressive on them and make them give me the weapons, but somehow I selected the option to leave the weapons with them. That wasn't what I wanted to do, but now Foundation hates the Brotherhood and I don't have the weapons, so I really messed up this quest. But you can't go back to a prior save with 76 and redo it. You gotta stick with your decisions. So even though I clicked the wrong button, I better stick with it. So I really screwed the pooch on this one, but in good Bethesda fashion, I don't think I really messed anything up. It has the same result, just how the NPCs react to me. So I'm upset that Knight Shin is upset with me because I'm trying to get on his good side. But oh well, I'll just have to work harder at the next question.
Shin?
Thanks, everybody, and I will see you in the wasteland.
Tough to get on his good side, brother. Sorry. No fast travel. Bold move in Fallout 4. Fucking torturous, punishment in 76. That map is too big.
I mean, it's huge, but I'm trying not to do it too much myself. But if I will fast travel to my camp and back to my last location, so I'm not going to go on foot from Foundation all the way to Atlas, except for the first time,
Yeah.
Then yeah. But otherwise, no, fast travel some. That is pretty rough. He mentioned the pumpkin house, too, and being dangerous. He actually had posted some pics in Discord about getting killed outside the pumpkin house, too. He said he ran into a scorch beast there loading in to try to do stuff, and then immediately after he respawned, died again to a blue devil just north of there on the way to the Red
Lord.
Rocket.
Yeah.
A lot of that. Wilson Phillips also, let's see. Anything else on that feedback? He mentioned a few things.
I thought it was funny that he didn't get the weapons or the,
Right.
approval. Both ends.
Well, did he select the wrong option? I mean, he said he selected the wrong option,
that's
but
what he
was
said.
he, when he wasn't even able to do, did he try the strength thing and not have enough perk to do it? That's funny that they programmed that in.
Yeah. He mentioned that he's not getting a lot of legendary drops and such, and I would imagine just running everywhere you would interact a lot more of the sort of random encounters and little bands of stuff running around, and there, high likelihood of having one of those things be a legendary item. And then I was thinking, wait a second, he keeps saying he's low intelligence. Intelligence doesn't have anything to do with, procking of like bad guys if they have a legendary or anything like
Drop
that.
rate stuff? I don't believe so. No, I don't know how it's connected.
Okay.
I think it's just that he's having to avoid a lot of the fights.
Oh yeah, he has to run. Right.
So that'll cut down on the number of legendaries if they're, if all your legendaries are, blue devils and sheep squatches.
Yeah, you're not going to do so well. You're going to use a lot of ammo trying to get through them.
Yeah. And, when you do the public events, you usually come away with at least 2, if not, more legendary items doing those. So, without traveling to those, he's cutting back severely.
Yeah, and it impairs that a bit. But, with contextual ammo, there is a good chance to get some, but you just have to be in the right locations. Like, I'm sure the mole miners, for instance, in the cave, in the mine, Kerwood mine, had a lot of ammo for him if he took them all out.
Yeah.
But depends how many, you took out. Going for the Mistress of Mystery weapons, that's a fun choice, but difficult early on, as we remember. Getting those doing that quest, getting those first couple items until you're, in the 40s, 50s at least. It's you can open that quest earlier than you're ready to tackle it.
Yeah.
Did he mention what level Wilson Phillips was at this point?
I didn't catch it. He just said he was leveling slowly.
Yeah. I would guess probably maybe higher than I am, but probably 30s at most, I would think.
He did say, I think he said like 28 or something. Something around there.
If you're leveling slowly, then getting quest weapons
is probably the way to go.
Not that big a deal because, it's going to be a long time before you outclass that weapon. If you're doing a lot of, public events and stuff that's, getting you a lot of levels, doing those quests early, those weapons become, pretty useless.
Yeah. No, that makes good sense. And the low intelligence does affect there. Talking about the level and low intelligence, that certainly does affect that. So that's really cool. Oh, Lee mentions in chat, does he know about the wrapping paper? That's true. As long as you're claiming your wrapping paper on your Roundtable character, you're going to get lots of ammo from that with all the things you craft.
And too many stim packs as well.
What you say, too many, maybe just right for some others.
I had like 280 on me after opening up presents that first weekend. I was like, oh, geez. I was
Holy
like, why
cow
am I
knockers.
I've gotten rid of everything. All the weapons, all the junk. I don't have anything. Why am I so over encumbered? 280 stim packs is why.
You were also farming presents pretty hard, though, right? Did you know how many you gathered?
I didn't count. It was a bunch. Yeah.
Over 100?
Easily, yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's some serious farming.
A lot of larges in there, too.
Beautiful. Good job on that.
All right. Yeah, congratulations on the no fast travel thing. That's ballsy in 76, Steve. Let's see what Lee has to say here. Oh, you know what? Let's do this.
Episode 3, The Truth, in Theory and Practice. Since Toe had not been given any specific instructions for her next assignment, she returned to her camp and prepared for when the Brotherhood next called on her. She spent some time sightseeing around Appalachia. When the call came, she reported to Knight Shen at Fort Atlas. He told her that a raider storehouse of weapons was reported to have Brotherhood weapons, and our new mission is to reacquire the weapons by any means necessary. He went on to say that Paladin Romani had forbidden engagement without warning, so we would talk to them first. It was obvious that this was not Knight Shin's preference, and he suggested that they be convinced first to reveal the source of the weapons. As he doubted that they would be willing to reveal the source, they should be given a strong message to do so. The cache was located east of Cobbleton Farm. He sent Toe on ahead, saying that he and his squad will be joining her there. When Tow arrived at the weapons stash, it turned out to be a makeshift vault, no doubt built by either a desperate pre-war citizen or the raiders themselves. Inside she found Knight Shin and was greeted by a raider who was familiar with the Brotherhood. As the conversation progressed, the raider, who was reluctant to give up anything and addressed her as Scout, was answered by Knight Shin, who seemed to be hardlining the conversation. Tow told the raider to give up as he was outgunned and in a generally bad tactical position. In response, he replied that the platform they were on was rigged to explode. Knight Shin called his bluff. The raider would not divulge the source of the Brotherhood weapons and decided to abandon the cache and leave for their settlement at Crater. And surprisingly, Shin let him. Somehow Tow had been hardline enough for Shin to commend her commitment to the Brotherhood. Tow had to assume that the raider didn't know the source, but it suggested they take up the question with his bosses. He mentioned that if it was just one representative of the Brotherhood that showed up, they usually don't shoot on sight. Naturally, Shin appointed Tow to be the one to go to Crater, while he started inventorying the shelter. Tow made it to Crater and, as expected, was totally unwelcome, but she was directed to the war room to speak with her contacts. A woman named Sheena and Pierce, the man at the makeshift vault. He and Sheena debated what to do next. Pierce had already stated his last word, but Sheena wanted to negotiate. In private, she said she revealed the source of the weapons, but wanted intel on the Brotherhood, records and such, and gave Tow a holotape. Tow asked how she knew about their scribes, and Sheena asked how she knew about this place, their war room, and reminded Tow that they have eyes in the world, just like the Brotherhood does. Tow agreed, but with the intent to use the opportunity to feed the raiders false information. Returning to Fort Atlas, Tow went straight to Scribe Valdez with the holotape. Valdez had already created fake data for just such a situation and directed Tow to use her terminal to put it on the holotape, but make sure she copied the right file, which she did. Tow went back to Crater and gave Sheena the holotape. Sheena said they got some of the weapons from the settlers of Foundation, but wasn't clear how. They also got some from some old friends who had come from the west via Ohio. That group claimed to have fought a big battle against the Brotherhood and were brandishing a Brotherhood knight's helmet with a bullet hole in the face shield as a trophy. Tow returned to Fort Atlas to report to Knight Shin. Shin was upset that there were multiple sources and that the braggarts had already left Crater. He agreed that we now have to follow up with the lead at Foundation. He also implied that he knew about an incident that may have precipitated these events, but told Tow that she didn't have clearance to learn more. Tow was about to leave to report to Paladin Romani, and Shin mentioned that he knew of a knight who had given his life in service to the Brotherhood, and to be respectful when reporting to Romani about the helmet. Reporting to Romani, Tow was asked how well she knew the people of Foundation. Tow admitted to being somewhat familiar with them. Romani said she might be amenable to trading supplies with Foundation in return for water, which the Brotherhood needs, and Foundation has in abundance. She also considered both weapon retrieval and negotiating a water deal equally important, and that she should talk to Gloria Chance. Tow accepted the assignment, and as an official ambassador to Foundation, she was issued a Brotherhood of Steel tactical ops suit and a beret. Upon arriving at Foundation, Tow visited Ward, whom she had done several recovery missions for, and asked where to find Gloria Chance, as the Brotherhood may have business with her. She was directed to Foundation's supply room under the guards' barracks. Gloria was surprised to hear back from Paladin Romani so soon, and commented on Tow's professionalism, but had no idea how to address her. Tow deferred to the title Initiate, and said she was here to discuss Paladin Romani's trade deal. Miss Chance said the deal would need adjustments, as they had recently purchased more than enough weaponry for their needs. When Tow asked to see them, she was told they had the Brotherhood logo on them, and they were currently out being tested. Tow asked where the weapons had come from, and Chance's colleague, who had made the actual purchase, told of a wandering merchant they deal with who hadn't mentioned where they had gotten them. Pushing that the weapons were Brotherhood property only yielded an invitation to observe the testing near their lookout tower to the northeast. With a promise of further negotiations, Tow left, hoping she wasn't too late getting there. Toad had been briefed on the use of the Hellfire missile launcher and could easily think of how an untrained user could get over their heads and have a major mishap. She was too late. At the base of the lookout tower was a large crater and several dead settlers. Nearby she found the Hellfire missile system crate, but no launcher or rounds for it. A holotape documented that the accident was caused by mishandling of the weapon by one guy named Mike, who was being rushed, which also contributed to the accident. Mike left behind his backpack containing the password to a nearby terminal. The terminal recorded some poorly spelled notes about a caravan being hit and the proceeds being stored in Carewood Mine. Mike Tiller added a note confirming that he had read the terminal. After his gaffe with the rocket launcher, he may have headed to Carewood Mine to find the treasure hidden there. Since Toe hadn't been to this tower before, she went to the top to survey the area and got a lead on a nearby mine to the east-southeast. Hoping that it was Carewood Mine, she headed out, taking the path down the mountain. Along the path, she found another empty weapons crate with the Brotherhood's logo on it. She was on the right path. She hastened her pace and found the mine entrance and approached it cautiously. Getting closer, she was suddenly attacked by a strange mutated creature. Falling back, the creature's shotgun missed its mark and she shot it through the head. Examining the body, she concluded that it was a horribly disfigured miner who had become one with his heavy-duty mining suit, an end much worse than the bullet she had used to end his misery. Inside the mine, she found more of the unfortunate miners fused with their suits. She cautiously picked them off, ending their threat. In an equipment cage, she found Mike Tiller, still alive. Peeking through the grate, he begged to be left here and asked that Gloria be told that he was found dead. He had barred the door and said that the other way out was flooded. Toe tried to convince him that the accident could be explained and that he was not responsible for the deaths of the other men, but Mike would have none of it, clutching to his self-induced exile. Suddenly, from further back in the equipment room, 2 mutated miners who had been infected with the scorched virus burst in and attacked Mike. Toe desperately beat on the door with her weapon, but before she could break in, Mike was dead. The miners, attracted by her banging, unbarred the door to find Toe ready and willing to end their lives. Toe searched Mike and found a key for a Brotherhood weapons case, which contained another of the missile launchers along with some other weapons. Confirming that there were no more of the mutated miners in the back of the equipment lockup, she also confirmed that it was flooded, as Mike had said. Glad that she found the weapons and saddened by Mike's end, she went back to Foundation. Returning to Ms. Chance, Toe reported the accident. No survivors. Toe felt there was no need to blame Mike, since he'd also been killed. They still owned the weapons, so Toe told her they lacked discipline and offered them some training in trade for weapons. They now recognized the danger and agreed. The Brotherhood would supply surplus food and supplies, and Foundation would supply water, along with information on any more unusual weapons they came across. His Chance accepted the deal. Returning to Fort Atlas, Paladin Romani and Knight Shin took a report. Both were pleased with the deal for trading surplus supplies for water and information on unusual weapons. Shin was pleased with the idea of helping Foundation to better defend themselves. Romani would rather not train Foundation and imbalance the power structure in Appalachia. She proposed that anyone who wanted to join the Brotherhood to be trained would be welcome. Shin rightly pointed out that her solution sounded more like a recruiting drive than an effort to help people in the area. On this, Toe was torn. It seemed like Foundation had just given up lots of caps for the now recovered weapons to no advantage. Romani dismissed her and asked that Toe tell Scribe Valdez that they were now ready for her report. This brewing conflict within the Brotherhood made Toe wonder if Paladin Romani's stated goal of helping the people of Appalachia was genuine or not, and Shin's hardline attitude had also proven unhelpful. Toe wondered if a balance of the two was possible.
All right, thank you, sir, Mr. Lee. Lots of stuff to get into, as always. The bug hit so many people here that it makes me think over 50% of the people are getting that same bug with the door.
Close to it, yeah. The Stratoblaster bug was a different one, although who knows, maybe he had that one too. You know,
oh, Lord,
he may have had that. And yeah, we've had at least 2 people mention a feedback, or was it 3?
I think it was at
2
least
plus
3 now. Yeah.
Ray.
Yeah,
Yep.
plus me. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, that not a feature, I don't think.
No, not a wanted feature. That's for sure.
Not
Lee
that one.
mentions having to fudge the events of Mike's death due to the bug and how it worked out in his feedback. Shared a lot of pictures of the playthrough on this one. Get a good
Beautiful.
look at his character in the fresh new Brotherhood uniform, looking very fresh. Talking to Ward. Ward, of course, sitting down like always because Ward doesn't get up to do his own dirty work ever anymore.
He's not allowed to move anymore.
No, he's not. You know, for those who have only started playing 76 in the last 3 years, Ward, the first year and a half of Wastelanders, he would get up and walk around with his cup of coffee, but he would occasionally get lost. He would occasionally get stuck. And they decided to fix that. They just sit him on his ass.
Yeah, he would get stuck. Like, it looked like his character had been working at those benches down underneath, and then like his character dismounted on the wrong side and like fell off the back of the. You're just like, how did you get down here? Where are you?
Yeah, you know, you would have thought they might have just reduced his ability to box,
His range, right? Yeah, just put him where he goes out to the power armor station, stands there, turns around, walks back to the
exactly.
Thing, you know? Yeah.
Every followers and NPCs have like their roaming box. You know, certain limits they have to stay within from a point. But I mean, he
not
would even
him.
get stuck.
Well, he does now. Now they sewed his ass to the chair.
Right, but he would even get stuck around his trailer. You know, his little trailer there. Like you step outside and get stuck behind those steps.
Yep.
And like, he was just a mess. Ward, you're a mess. No wonder you're losing things.
Sit down, Ward.
But there are some really good pics here from Lee. Just the various
beautiful.
Brotherhood stuff and all that. Enjoyed Toad's story very much.
I love everyone took a picture of the bodies. So about that scene, were they up in the tower shooting? Was that the plan, or he dropped the missile
they were just
launcher?
down front.
He just dropped the missile launcher, or he didn't shoot it correctly. What was the actual accident?
I think he picked it up without trigger discipline and accidentally set it off. Like there was no safety. He was because on the holotape they say, "No, Mike, no, I told you not to pick it up like that." And then there's a big explosion. So he was obviously lifting it, and he was just over by the terminal there when he finished, and they were where the crater is. So yeah, I don't think they were in the tower. Just
I don't know anything about firearms or anything. Does a missile launcher or bazooka, do they have like just a normal trigger mechanism like a pistol or rifle would, or is there an extra safety mechanism on how to launch those things?
yeah, exactly. I've never handled a missile launcher in real life.
Yeah, I have no clue how easy it is to launch those things.
Yeah, a lot of them seem to have almost like they've got a harness built in, you know what I mean? So your arm actually goes into like straps and a harness to hold them steady, or like, shoulder mounted kind of harness situations. I would think it wouldn't be that easy, but I'm looking at pictures of some current advanced missile launchers. A lot of them have built-in scopes on them. And yeah, there is a trigger, but there's a couple safety things around it. So.
And then Lee in chat uses the word bazooka. What does that technically mean? Is that a style of missile launcher? Does bazooka imply something about the thing being launched, or how is a bazooka different from a missile launcher from a Fat Man or whatever?
Back in the day, a bazooka was basically like an anti-tank missile launcher kind of thing,
like
right?
a shoulder-mounted soldier-carrying missile launcher
like
type thing,
a specific kind, from World War II or around then.
Oh, really? Like brand name, like Kleenexes to tissue type thing?
As far as I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they've, been making various variations since, of course, still called bazookas.
And then Lee says, an unguided rocket, not a missile. And then, of course, I'm going to bounce back. What the fuck is the difference between a rocket and a missile?
Well.
Yeah, yes, this could be a round and round argument all night long. Like, okay.
Right, because some missiles are heat sinking and unguided. Unguided rocket, not a guided missile. There you go. Really interesting. Bazooka is also a chewing gum. I remember that.
Are all missiles guided, and that is the difference between missiles and rockets?
I wouldn't think so, but I don't know.
I have no idea. Where's Dwight when you need him?
Absolutely. So, okay, this is from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, which has been asking for money pretty hard this month. But Wikipedia says a missile is an airborne ranged weapon capable of self-propelled flight, usually aided by a propellant, jet engine, or rocket motor. Historically, a missile referred to any projectile that's thrown, shot, or propelled. Still recognized today with any unguided jet or rocket-propelled weapons. So yeah, it seems like it can be unguided or guided, but guided and guided missiles are separate. Okay, and rockets are generally not guided. Perfect. There we go.
Right. Well, just be careful handling that shit, you guys.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't pull a Mike.
Oh my God, poor Mike. Poor other people.
No, Mike, don't hold it like that. Oh no!
It was just like, oh, yeah. Yeah, and then, possums came. Possums happened.
Got a snack.
Possums follow Mike around, eating the bodies.
Ah, beautiful. All right.
Yeah. After you meet Mike, you kind of think he probably shouldn't have even held a 9mm. So
It's true. He's a little nervous and shaky, for sure. For sure. He's like young Travis. That's what he reminds me of, like the way he talks and looks a bit. He's like Travis like 5 years earlier.
Oh boy. That's a load. All right. So that is our feedback for this evening, but we do have Will chiming in again with a little bit of Fallout Terminal Velocity.
Hey Fallout friends, Will here with another Terminal Velocity. We will be heading back over to Fallout 4, where I'm reading one of the 2 terminals located inside Fort Strong. Bravo Team Testing Terminal. Fort Strong, U.S. Army Depot, no unauthorized personnel. Bravo Team M42, report 001. Things are getting tough around here. Brock has decided to split our men into 2 teams. I drew one of the short straws, so I ended up on the M42 Fat Man Launcher team, while most of my buddies are sitting pretty upstairs with the T-51B suits. I can't even begin to describe what a ridiculous idea the M42 is. A man-portable mini-nuke thrower that a trooper in the field is supposed to deploy at close range. I've been poring over the schematics, and I have no idea how we're going to get this thing to throw a warhead far enough not to kill the soldier unlucky enough to be stuck with these death traps. Bravo Team M42, report 002. We've stripped the warhead weight down as much as possible, but I think we're looking at this the wrong way. Instead of trying to reduce the warhead weight, we should try and amp the power of the thrower itself. I know that means adding weight to an already heavy piece of ordnance, but I don't think we have any choice. One of the guys suggested we try magnetics to push a warhead through like a railgun, but the power pack would need to be the size of a suitcase. I'll keep picking away at this problem and see what I can turn up. Bravo Team M42, report 003. We lost 2 good soldiers this morning. They were on the surface testing a MIRV variant of the launcher when one of the warheads misfired and hit the ground right where they were standing. Poor bastards didn't even have a chance. We couldn't even find any remains to send home to their folks, so Brock told us to just fill some cans with sand. I'll tell you, that guy doesn't give a crap about us. He's just worried about the brass back in Washington giving him a hard time. Bravo Team M42, report 004. I was in bed last night when I had one of those eureka moments. I ran over to the night shift guys in the lab, swept all of their drawings on the floor, and started sketching my ideas. They must have thought I'd lost my mind. 6 hours and about 14 cups of coffee later, and I had it all mapped out. Would use a small subcharge as a launching catalyst to catapult the warhead from the launcher. Would have plenty of range, and the subcharge could be built into the warhead itself. Brock seemed to like the plan and gave us a go-ahead to prototype the device. I can't wait to try it out. Bravo Team M42, report 005. It took the better part of a year and over 100 test firings, but the M42 is ready to be shipped out into the field. I can't believe I spent over a year on this single project. I feel pretty good knowing we're delivering a well-tested weapon to our own guys fighting overseas. Now that it's over, I suppose Brock will move us on to something else, but for now, I'm going to spend the rest of the month packing up these warheads to ship off base.
To participate in the Fallout Terminal Velocity project, send your special letters, holotapes, and terminal entries to the falloutfeed@gmail.com.
So I believe our mystery M42 weapon might be the Fat Man that we're talking about. Could be.
Yeah. This is the mini nuke launcher.
Our little history on our present day best friend super weapon there.
And incredibly appropriate for the previous discussion as well.
That's blowing your own ass up, yeah.
The possums at Fort Strong eating good.
That is the best. I love possums getting a snack. All right, thank you, Will. Like our outro said there, looking for more entries from everyone out there. We'd love to hear your favorite terminals, letters, and holotapes. Send them our way, guys. All right, that concludes the Fallout Terminal Velocity and the feedback, but I bet you we got a little bit of iguana bits to get into.
Jessica, to the office, please. Jessica, to the office. Your iguana bits are ready. Please come pick them up. Why, thank you, Jess. So we got some quick bits tonight. Not going to make it too long. We had lots of feedback, lots to get into. Resolution's still on the board. But you know what else helps speed things along? Double XP. That's right.
Boom.
It wasn't on the calendar. It wasn't on the community calendar. We knew double score last weekend. We knew Christmas is happening. But a present to all of us, we got double XP happening right now. And from what I hear, double XP in the raids, pretty intense because you're already getting a lot of XP in the raids for completions. But Ash running them mentioned getting like 6 levels in just a few hours. People who are running a lot of raids, which, by the way, Ash, maybe like out of our extended crew, the person running the most raids I've seen. And a lot of people are really running them religiously. I'm not. I'm still not. I haven't done a raid myself yet. No, I've sat outside the door and listened to friends running it and just kind of chuckled up my sleeve. I've worked on my camp. I haven't run it. It's becoming a bit now. I mean, I will at some point, but it's kind of fun not to, like getting score, which Ray gave in, but for a long time he wouldn't get score. So how about double XP? Hopefully some of you take advantage of it if you want to. Looking ahead into January, not a whole lot on the board. I think we mentioned before, we get double score again end of the month. But until then, it's just the usual mutations, caps aplenty, gold rush, all that stuff until we get to February. So January, a little bit uneventful there. And as we know, Bethesda is on their usual holiday break for at least another week or two. Chances are they'll be back at some point early to mid-January, and we'll start hearing more again and getting articles on the site again like usual. On completely irrelevant to Fallout and personal news, I realized that I talked a lot beginning of last year about my fantasy critic game, and I've decided it's worthy of Iguanovitz news to report in. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, I was in 2 fantasy critic leagues, like we talked about, picking a lot of games. I had to do some swaps this year. So your girl got herself in some trouble because several of the games I was banking on didn't come out. My game that was a definite win, Football Manager 2025. Jerry said that'll win. Something like that. He typed it, but he's football. Obviously, every year scores well. Great choice. Pick that. I picked that. Avowed. I was a huge believer in Avowed. Also delayed. So several of my games delayed. The picks that I made to replace them, maybe not the best choices.
No.
So in my one league, I finished like 8th out of 10, which pretty sad. And the biggest reason for that. Was picking Skull and Bones right off the bat, and also picking Shattered Space, and a few other things. It did not go well. I got negative points for a few of those.
How many Shattered Spaces are there now? Is this like the 4th one, 5th one, something like that?
What? No, this is the first and only DLC for Starfield, Shattered Space.
Oh, what am I thinking? What's this? The horror space game? Never mind.
Yeah.
I was thinking something else.
I did so bad, the Fantasy Critic website just went down. I went to check it, and I'm getting a bad gateway error. I don't know what happened.
You did so poorly, you torched the server, and you're like, gosh, guys, I guess no one wins.
Earlier tonight. But so one of the games I picked to replace was something called Spirit of the Samurai, which I'm like, oh, that looks like a good game. Samurai, side scroller, good stuff. No, its average Metacritic open critic score was like a 55, 56, really low. I got negative 15 on my board. So my other big league that I was in, the Min-Max League, I was on track to get like 40 out of 100. I was in the top 50. I was doing fine. Not great, but reasonable, respectable. After that negative 15 hit at the end, dropped down to like, I don't know, in the 60s or 70s. Pretty darn pathetic. So, yeah, anyone keeping track at home, which was absolutely zero of you, I did not do well in my Fantasy Critic League. And hopefully better this year.
I don't know. I had your odds running in Vegas, Jess, so I think a lot of people cared.
Hopefully you bet against me. That was the smart money on this one. Like, the problem with fantasy draft, and I mean, you guys know this for all you sports fantasy drafters and stuff, that you may have a great idea of what's going to do the best, but you're drafting against other people. You got to pick. You don't just get everything you want.
Yep.
And then things happen and games get delayed.
And then, players get injured or games don't come out.
Yep. Exactly.
The good news is doing so poorly this year should get you a higher draft pick in next year's league.
That's true. If you do a continual, league year after year, you should get a higher draft pick next year.
That would be nice. I don't believe it works that way, but that would be nice. But I did. So I have drafted one of my leagues already for next year. It was a snake draft, and I was put at the end, so I got to do 2 in a row, which is a pretty sweet place to be.
How long does that season go? Like, when does it start and end and such?
January 1st to December 31st.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, it's a full year Fantasy Critic. But really, it's done when the games are done releasing. So if everybody in the league has their games came out, league or conference, with a Min-Max, we have a full conference going on.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's really fun.
Anywho, that is that. It was a good time. And I had put a note about the Fallout year in review on the Iguana Bits, but we've gone a little long, and I kind of want to talk resolutions.
All right. Well, let's talk some resolutions then.
Yeah.
We put this on the list, I don't know, last year, maybe a couple of years ago. It's just silly idea. What are your gaming resolutions for the upcoming year? What are your goals or just sort of things you want to get into? I think. Jess, you seemed like you maybe have an idea of something you wanted to mention. Do you have any resolutions off the top of your head?
I didn't prep for this ahead because I didn't know you were adding it to the list. But of course, we've done it every year. So what is our gaming resolution? I think I need to have one that says on any given day where you plan to game, spend more time playing games than on social media.
Yeah.
I want to fix my social media to gaming balance because this last year it got a little off. Like, it used to be decent, and this past year I still got some gaming in, but there were plenty of times where I'd let my phone distract me and I'd be checking the Twitter or the Blue Sky or the Facebook for an hour when I could have been playing games.
So much could have been accomplished.
Mm-hmm. I feel like in the last year it moved from a little bit too much social media to definitely too much social media sometimes. So we got to fix that game social balance, and that's probably my biggest resolution because I want to beat more games. I did play over 40 games this year, but come on,
wow,
I can do better.
That's a ton.
Yeah, but some of them are short. Like, I can do better.
You can do better.
I can be like Ray. I mean, he played less games, but he played more times,
Okay. Balance of social media versus gaming during dedicated game time. It's a good goal. Any other things off the top of your head that
I might think of another. Let's go to one of the other two first. See if I can think of another one.
Ray, is there anything you would change about your gaming life? You already kind of have it pretty solid.
Yeah, as far as the the time and all that kind of stuff, that's not really where I need to make resolutions. My resolutions need to be in finishing games that I start. So, I have a tendency to start playing a game and like playing the game so much that I stop advancing the storylines. And
just because you enjoy being in the world or whatever.
Right. And so even though I played a lot of hours in Kingdom Come and Stalker, I'm giving myself a break because that one, launched so late in the year that I wouldn't really be expected to have finished it yet. But a lot of people have.
Oh yeah.
So I need to finish that one, and I still have not even entered into the new content in Cyberpunk. So I haven't met Idris Elba yet.
He's a nice fellow.
You still haven't done that.
I still have not done that.
That is surprising, but with the timing, there were a lot of games.
Yeah, the biggest thing I run into with Cyberpunk is that I start a character and build it up from the ground up, but then get distracted and start doing something else. When I go back to that character, either they've completely changed the game, or I can't remember what I was doing with that character.
Don't you wish there was like a little notepad or something, Ray, you could have that you're jotting down
but
characters?
The thing is I do have those. I have books.
And you're like, you still can't figure out what you were doing.
It's like, what was I doing and why was I doing it? And it's it's a bad habit with some of these games.
So being better at completing the game, following through, not wanting to get stuck in the world that you enjoy so much, but actually powering through and completing the stories.
Yeah, broadening horizons. When you get something like that, makes sense. Because when you get that, what was it called again for Cyberpunk? The expansion started with a P, right?
Phantom Liberty.
Phantom Liberty. When you get something like Phantom Liberty, you really want to experience it. And the fact that, you were busy creating and recreating 16 to 20 Starfield characters, I mean, not a bad use of time, for sure. Fantastic. But yeah, it does keep you from doing what you want to do. And that's the same thing with my taking too long to finish a game. 2 months to finish Dragon Age because some of my gaming time is on social, like too much of it. So same kind of thing in a different way.
Yeah.
How about you, Andrew?
Oh, mine are more straightforward and boring. You guys have like actually thematic things. Mine was just like, I want to play more Skyrim.
I mean, yeah, you should.
I want to get back into castles.
It's the time of year for Skyrim. Like everybody plays Skyrim November, December, and everybody watches Lord of the Ring November, December, right? It seems like
my wife has been watching. We've been devouring Lord of the Rings right now.
Of course you have. It's all over social media.
The movies and the TV show even too. It's actually, I found out they have nothing to do with each other, but they're actually kind of really good partners somehow. But anyway, gaming resolutions. Getting the black cat on the scoreboard. I come out of score retirement so I can get that black kitty on the scoreboard this season. That's one thing I wanted to do. I'll probably go back into score retirement after the kitty is claimed, but I want to get that black kitty. Was there else? The Fallout show. I've already said that a few times that I need to rewatch the Fallout show, but I really want to watch that again. I watched Fat Man with Walton. What's his name? Walton Goggins. Goggins. Yeah, I watched that the other day. I love that guy. He's a really fun actor. And I was going to ask you, Fallout Shelter Online. There was whispers of that at some point in the last year or something, but I haven't had my ear to the ground. That is a resolution. I'm going to play that game. I don't know how.
Yeah, we still don't know. I mean, you can play that version
Japanese
with an American
version.
translation slightly. Yeah. It might be rough, but it's playable. But yeah, we don't know what's going to bear out for those whispers of the unnamed Fallout projects that do seem to be in the works.
I love that the TV show gave us all these other little possible Fallout projects too.
Right, and the whispers coming back, all over the last couple weeks. People talking about the Oblivion remaster / remake, but probably more of a remaster, which we've known about after the leak. We've kind of posited on for the last year, and it died down. People weren't talking about it a bit, since maybe around E3 time, summer, and now everybody's talking about it again. Maybe it's going to happen. Maybe it's going to be the surprise announcement at an Xbox Direct in January. Who knows? Yeah. But once again, if that happens, that's the first step towards Fallout 3, which I know, again, you don't believe in, but...
Not going to happen.
It could.
But I'm also getting excited for that new Elder Scrolls TV show that they're going to put out, so that'll be really fun. No, yeah, I don't know. Just some simple stuff like that. Ray, did you put anything? Oh, you just actually filled in your... I thought you had, or Jess filled it in, I guess.
I'm gonna hold him to it. I had to write it down.
Hold you to it, right? She's gonna refer back to these notes at the end of the year. Oh, we should look up our notes from last year, and see what we did, and see if we actually stuck to our resolutions this year.
I'll do that right now. Do we have any
funny.
content creation guides? I will try to publish most of my stuff on time and commit to it. Yeah, hopefully. I'll try.
I am going to be a better podcast host this year. Fail.
So let's see. Around this time last year, we were probably at episode 420 or something?
I don't know, about 50 episodes ago, probably, because we probably took at least a couple weeks off this year, so...
Right, where would we be? So I'm scrolling back. Let's check.
In the
Fallout feed 432.
Or so, 430s, 440, somewhere in there.
That was Atlantic City dated. Don't necessarily need that. Fallout feed 426. Oh, we were still finishing some quests back then, so that's way too far back. That's the end of Fallout 4. So let's check around 440. Yeah, I don't find it right now. Oh, we did talk about the Love Radiating video, so we're almost there.
Oh, that's Christmas season, sort of, I think,
it's Christmas
right?
season. Yeah, which, by the way, when we get to the shouts, shout out to that. I was watching it again, and I shared it again on Twitter and Blue Sky, and, of course, on our Facebook group. Everybody participated. That was so much fun. Great to listen to again. And, yeah, just a
good
really
gang.
good time.
Yeah.
I was glad to reshare and have more people watch it, because everyone did such a good job.
Hey, and as we're collecting maybe last year's resolutions, I just wanted to give a few shouts to people who throughout this year were very important to helping us create this podcast and keep it going. Our feedback, our roundtable feedback folks, who really this show revolves around the roundtable and community aspect of everyone who is here. So just in this last year, we had a bunch of really solid folks send in lots of really good feedback, and we're always so impressed with everyone's storytelling abilities and everything that is submitted. So special thanks and shouts for this year to Lou, Nana, Janet, Solior, Matt and Nikki, Vanessa, Jeff, Leon, Dawn, Baker, Mr. Sullivan, Lee, Keith, Will, Pip-Boy Steve, and Sean. So thank you all, you guys. We really we could do the show, but it wouldn't be nearly as good without you guys.
No.
So.
It's always better with you guys. Fantastic feedback. Super appreciate that. So,
Absolutely.
Andrew, I found a couple of notes where we mentioned gaming resolutions.
Oh, yeah. What did we come up with last year?
But your good little note taker didn't necessarily write them down. We just talked about them.
Oh, okay.
But what I did come across, Fallout Feed 445, Andrew, saved the pizza from the car roof. That was this time last year. What happened? You remember that story?
Saved the pizza from the car roof?
Did you drive with a pizza on the roof? I think you must have.
No, that sounds pretty hilarious, though. Let's go back and listen to episode 445, you guys, and tell me about my pizza story, please.
That's fantastic. I remember it being something kind of funny. But yeah, I find resolutions written down once or twice, but I cannot find actually what we what we wrote.
Well,
chances are you shared them on Twitter at some point.
We'll remember next year to listen back to 491.
Of course we will.
To compare all of those resolutions. All right, you guys. That was really fun. Thanks again to all you Roundtable folks. And special thanks to, of course, Ray and Jess for yet another year of just a really good time, just sitting around hanging out with friends, shooting the shit about a game that we all love. So, special thanks to you two especially about, being, you're now like my new best friend, or have been for years now, like my best friends, and like I just interact with you guys more than I do with anybody else pretty much in my life besides my wife and child. So you guys are awesome, and I greatly appreciate all the time and energy you dedicate to this venture. And much appreciated, and I love you guys, and thanks for doing the show with me. Lots of fun.
Right back at you, man.
All right, you guys.
Love you too, man, for sure.
Let's go out on a good note. So, Jess and Ray, do you have any other topics you would like to bring up tonight? And in that case, you can find both of them over there on the Discord, where everybody seems to be hanging out these days. Jess can also be found at SleepIs4T, also at Dames Who Game, and also at Starfield Lorecast. Is that right? Did I say that one right?
That is correct.
Awesome.
Yeah, all those things. Yep.
All right. Jess, thanks so much for hopping on.
Thanks so much. You started it out as Wasteland Resolutions the first year you had us do this.
Oh, yeah?
Back in 2020. What are your Wasteland resolutions? And then I think you changed to gamer resolutions the next year. I'm searching on the Twits now.
No, just resolutions. Something, but you gotta be thematic, right? Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mentioned, Ray hangs out in the Discord a lot too, but you can also find out more information about his No Man's Sky show. It's called The Butcher Baker Candlemaker in Space at BBCISSS. Ray, thanks so much for hopping on.
Happy New Year.
I can be found in the Facebook group, and the show can be found at the Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed. We will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the Wasteland.
Big erection.
I'm not about to have a rocket shoved up my ass everywhere I turn.
He got a rocket up his ass. He got Shin chewing out his ass, and I think someone reamed his ass. So that's a lot going on there.